Atlanta Motor Speedway has been repaved and reprofiled, and it's now a superhighway of speed. The area Lodgebox Series enters its 6th round of the season, and while this track used to have some of the highest straightaway speeds in the sport, the cars now have restrictor plates to slow them down and pack them up. Scioli and Elwood have 2 wins apiece, but this one may end up as chaotic and wild as the season opener back at Daytona. Hi everybody, Kyle Heyer, joined by Connor Horn and Hunter Sleppy for tonight's 6th round of the area Lodgebox Series season. Connor, this time is the first time I've been to Atlanta Motor Speedway in the sim with this particular car combination. Excited to see how it plays out for all involved.
It's going to be pretty exciting, I think. You're going to see an awesome race. We saw 2 awesome races on Monday and Tuesday. The truck race was wild. We had a few smaller wrecks with cars flying out of the ballpark. We saw everything, especially good racing. Well, I'm not a 100% fan of this combination of the repave in real life. It's definitely produced great racing all week long here in the area series, and we're looking to see if we can get another different winner tonight, Hunter.
Indeed. For Kyle's info or input, or context, that's the word I'm looking for. For the context, the title of the truck race was Bring Back Old Atlanta 180. So I, for one, am not a fan of this new Atlanta, but I can see why they decided to turn it into a real thing at real Atlanta Motor Speedway, because it's actually entertaining, although I still don't like it as a super speedway. It's very tight, very condensed, and as Connor mentioned, we had 2 different winners, Ricky Springer in the Cup side of things and David Weishart over on the truck side of things, so we could go 3 for 3 for new winners in the area series.
Practice is underway as we get into our night of action. It'll be a 130-lap race coming up in about 15 minutes time, and I'm going to take the opposite stance. I wasn't a huge fan of Atlanta before, and I know I'm going to get some flame for that, but there were a lot of races where, at least in recent years, where it was a runaway winner. So while I think it's chaotic and maybe not the truest to Atlanta thing, I do think, at least in the short term, it'll be entertaining for a couple of years before they tear it up and try something different. So I'm all for it right now. The race on Monday was fantastic. The Tuesday race, I saw some dramas there. Excited to see what tonight will bring as we get into it. Let's have a quick look at our series playoff picture. And Connor, James Scioli, Alan Elwood both have 2 wins. In terms of the point standings, Elwood actually leads those, but in terms of the playoff picture, Scioli's on top.
And Elwood got that 2nd win at IRP. Somewhat dramatic finish, was able to hold everyone off on older tires, but he's in a good shape in the playoff standings as well. You look at the standings down the order. Guys like Furness, he's been so close. He just needs to break through. Maybe today's the day. Chambliss, good job so far. Beckner, Herr, and Weishart. Pierce Moffitt, how about 9th place? Haven't talked about him a lot this season, but he's right there. Chris Rabel, Tommy Ryan. Ryan only 1 point to the good, as well as Colin Fambro, who missed IRP. And they got everyone else who's kind of struggling to find the points they need, Hunter.
Yeah, looking at Bryce Senesac to have a solid night. He's only 1 point out to the good. Didn't have a solid showing for Monday night, and looking to bounce back in a big way tonight. And as mentioned, Tommy Ryan, he was running up front actually before he decided to take off into space on the start-finish line right there that you just saw. Also looking at Greg Mitchell to be a force to reckon with. Forrest Smith actually had a top 10 earlier at a super speedway-like race earlier at Daytona. So I'm looking for those guys to have solid runs tonight.
John Furness, it is a travesty that he has not yet won a race this season. Right now in practice, he's 26, but there's not a lot to take away from practice speeds tonight. It's all about planning your race, and this is not going to be any traditional super speedway race, Connor. What we noticed on Monday, and I'm sure you guys saw on Tuesday as well, is yes, the package the cars are running is the super speedway package. The racetrack is not a super speedway. You're wearing out tires the same way. You're still having to deal with the same strategy. The handling conditions changing, not something you deal with at Daytona or Talladega over the course of a race. So John Furness, it's not necessarily going to be all about navigating all the wonders of a super speedway race. It's about taming Atlanta from a strategy perspective. We'll see if Furness can get it done finally and get his first win on the board.
This track kind of puts you in a box with the way you're in a super speedway package. You're in the pack like Furness is right now, and you kind of have nowhere to go, but you're not able to just ride. You know, Daytona, Talladega, at least from my standpoint, that's still going to wreck right there. From my standpoint, I can drive Daytona or Talladega one-handed. I can't do that here. There's just so much going on. The tires wear out. You can't hold the bottom line. You're going to have to lift a little. You might even see a little bit of trail braking tonight to keep those tires on it, and it puts you in a box. If you're the leader, you don't really want to be leading because someone pushing you into the corner on your rear bumper is going to get you crazy sideways. And if you're running hard trying to get that race lead, you're going to have the worst tires, and if you lose that lead, you're going to struggle.
one driver that I want to take a look at as we watch the 7 Sky only get the bump from the door bumper clear 81 of Brad Slaughter. Looking at second over on the speed chart, Ryan Swan. Now, Ryan Swan won at Talladega last season for the Lodgebox Series, had a 15th place run here Monday night. Had a really impressive top 10. I felt like should have been top 5. The finish didn't show for it on the truck side of things. He got 7th, but towards the end of the truck race, Ryan Swan got shuffled out to where it seemed like he would just fall straight to the back, but he kept his foot in it on the outside line on his own and was actually able to stay inside the top 5 for the most part. But I looked at the 54 of Ryan Swan to be a factor in tonight's race as well.
One driver I'm looking forward to seeing battle is Brad Slaughter Jr. in the number 81. On Monday night was up front leading a bunch of laps and got himself turned around and crashed in just a big one-style crash, Connor. And I mentioned how this track isn't necessarily going to wear tires like a super speedway, but there's still some of the dangers of them. The big one, we got to talk about it, Connor. It's going to happen at some point tonight in 130 laps. It could be lap 5, it could be lap 128, but we know that at some point 10 or more cars are going to get wadded up in this one.
Which is funny to think about because Tuesday night in a truck race, with how packed up the trucks were, we thought we were going to see multiple big ones, but as far as I recall, we didn't really get a huge crash, which is kind of surprising because I think you're at a bigger risk for a big one at this type of track because you're going to be packed up, and along with that, you only have maybe 2.5, barely 3 lanes at this 1.5 mile track. So if that wreck happens, especially near the front top 5, top 10, there's going to be absolutely nowhere to go. I think the only reason we didn't see a huge one on Tuesday night is because the 99 went flying through the air, but these Xfinity cars, I think they're going to be more on edge than the trucks are. I think we're going to see a lot more aggressive pushing than we saw in the truck series. I think it's going to be really tough to avoid the big one tonight.
Yeah, exactly what I was about to say. These cars are the most on-edge vehicle that the area drives in. Cup cars, trucks. Yeah, you can just see it right there on the onboard from Matt Cochran. That was Brad Slaughter in front of him. These cars are going to be so on edge, especially on corner exits. And from what we've been hearing, got to go back to Monday night with Travis Beckner complaining that he's having to lift off so much in the middle of the corner, going from almost 180 into the corner all the way down to 150, something you don't see at the traditional Daytona and Talladega. And you see here on the slow-mo just how loose these cars are. And that's Brad Slaughter. He's still looking for a win here at his home track in Atlanta. Got Rafe Slade and Cameron Hearn as well. Drivers that are looking to get a win at their home track. We saw Ricky Springer do it Monday night. Weishart, an Indiana native, won Tuesday night. So could we go 2 for 3 with Georgia racers winning?
We'll see as they come across the line. About a minute left here in practice. Qualifying is up next, and then our 130-lap race is on the horizon. Taking a quick look at the weather, it's going to change slightly as it's morning right now, but 79 in the air, 80 degrees, track temp, Connor. Relatively cool conditions as opposed to what we saw on Monday night, so that should help a little bit, right? You're going to have some mechanical grip in the road. It should help, but over the course of the run, the tires burning off is going to swing the balance a lot.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We're going to see drivers maybe hopefully go full throttle early on new tires, especially the leaders, no doubt about it. But 10, 15, maybe 20 laps in, you're going to start to see the effects of the tires. Drivers having to lift in the middle of the pack, drivers getting sideways on entry, getting sideways on exit, just having to hold on. And the guys who are pushing, they're going to have to be careful because with these Xfinity cars, if you're pushing into the corner, the guy you're pushing is going to get a little bit aero loose, and you don't want to get someone aero loose in front of a pack of 35 plus. So you're going to have to be careful if you're on the bumper of someone, but you also got to be careful if you're in a pack just riding on your own.
At that point, you better hope there's another Tommy Ryan where the car spin and just goes up to the moon.
Yes. Have to make sure that you don't end up in the sky like Tommy Ryan did on Tuesday night. Fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. For only $5 a month, you can watch all area broadcasts commercial-free. You can also use new Area iRacing emotes in the chat. You can earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise. That is twitch.tv/Area iRacing. If you're watching this, you're probably already there. Twitch.tv/Area iRacing. Practice is complete, and time to move on here into qualifying. Connor, on Monday night, I said qualifying would be a big deal just to keep yourself out of the mix. Some of the drivers that started up at the back ended up at the front by the end of the night. So, how important is qualifying in the next 10 minutes?
I think this is going to be the least important one of the week. I think the Cup cars, you don't really need it too much, but you really don't want to be at the very back of the pack. The trucks, we saw bumper-to-bumper racing all night long, really nowhere to go. We only saw the third line with around 10 laps to go formulate. And it was really just Ryan Swan, on new tires making it work. So I think it's going to be a little bit different. I think as the tires wear, we will get a little bit more spread out as far as the pack goes, but that means it's going to be tougher and tougher to get a third line going. So I still think if we do get a decent amount of green flag racing, you're going to need a top 5, top 10 starting position to really mess with things at the front of the pack.
Yep, the winners from both Cup and Truck races started second, that being Ricky Springer, and fifth being David Weishart, but also track position really not going to matter a whole lot here, at least for qualifying, because Travis Beckner in Cup started 30th, finished third. Wayne Culberson started dead last and still got 6th place finish for Cup. And then on truck side of things, Cameron Hearn started 34th, made his way up to third. Rafe Slate 26th to 5th. So drivers can go from the back to the front. It was more of a challenge though for those two races, Monday and Tuesday night. But like Connor said, with the way these Xfinity cars are just on edge all the time, I think that qualifying really won't matter that much. Unless you're David Weishart here, then it's absolutely important unless he somehow qualifies third.
First lap out for David Weishart, riding the rim all the way up on the high side of the racetrack to build that momentum. He's going to sacrifice that first lap and then drop to the bottom here with all that momentum he gained from the longer way around. He use the bottom of the road and go the short way around for lap 2 and hopefully jump to the top of the order. He's 8th right now as Sciole, Senesac, and Robertson go 1, 2, and 3. Senesac could certainly use a boost in the championship hunt, so good first lap for him, but it's all about that second lap pace that's going to set your position.
As Weishart across the line. You can cut that apron on qualifying. Don't expect to see it during the race, though, because it is illegal. 32.157, Weishart 4th for the time being. A decent lap. We should put him in the top 10. Brad Slaughter Jr. looks like he's finished his lap at 32.105. He's currently the pole sitter. He had a good qualifying run last night as well.
Here's Alan Elwood. As mentioned, he's got 2 wins on the season. Wouldn't mind making it 3 races. That would be a win percentage of 50% so far in the 6th race of the Lodgebox season. His driver, Shane Therian, actually won at Daytona to start off the season, so teammates having a little bit more knowledge on how to race on these super speedway-like tracks, as Slaughter's still the quickest time with 7 minutes remaining.
Here comes Elwood out of turn number 4 on his first lap. It's only going to be a 33.6. So lap number 2 as Tommy Ryan jumps to the top at a 32.08. Elwood now to the bottom through 1 and 2. And he doesn't need to win races anymore. He's locked into the playoffs at this stage, but racking them up, Connor, you still want to get as many as you can. The good news for Elwood is he doesn't have to be conservative tonight. If he ends up upside down, backwards, it doesn't matter. He's got his playoff picture already locked. It's all about just increasing the number in the wins column.
And that's the luxury of having a win. You can just chase wins and do what you really want throughout the rest of the regular season as he comes across a 1-2-9, puts him 3rd on the grid. Not surprised to see Tommy Ryan at the top of the leaderboard either. I believe he won the pole for the truck race himself, and he was at the front all night long before his incident. We see Greg Mitchell coming across the line. He's about to go for his 2nd lap, a 7.92. Obviously, everyone taking lap 1 around the rim just to get the run built out of turn 4 into turn 1. This is going to be another one. Get right down to that red and white line on the bottom of the track. Goes through the middle of the racetrack to keep a little bit of a run down the back straightaway into turn 3.
Well, the 99 of Ryan has finally landed at P1 on the chart as we ride in car with Greg Mitchell, looking to complete his 2nd lap and see where that number 2 can slot himself. Will he be better than 22nd?
Yes.
And it looks like he will, just above the top 15 and 14.
14th for now, as almost everybody else has not yet taken to the racetrack. 24 drivers have taken times. It leaves another about 15 or so that have not yet qualified. Here's Joshua Franks heading down the back straightaway. He's getting geared up for his qualifying effort. Connor, talk to me about the strategy involved here with tire wear, because I mentioned that over the course of the run, you're going to have classic Atlanta tire wear. Even though the pavement is different, the aggregate isn't as coarse as it once was. But right now, these drivers are flooring it around here, pedal to the floor, because of that restricted airflow from that restrictor plate in the carburetor. So over the course of the run, will drivers have to start lifting and maybe even tapping the brakes, or is it just a lift and coast?
Braking's possible, but I don't think we'll see it. I think we'll definitely see drivers start to lift in the middle of the pack. I don't think there's any way you could come close to going full throttle around the entire racetrack on a full fuel run. It's just not going to happen, let alone with the checkups and everything. Even if you're the leader, it's going to be a little bit tough to go full throttle, because if you try going full throttle on the way bottom, pinch down there, you're not going to be able to hold it down like you are at Daytona or Dega. You're going to slide up the racetrack, and eventually you have to lift. It might bring you a slide after lifting. So I think we're going to see a lot of tire wear come into play. I think we're going to see tire saving come into play as well. Someone running in 10th, if they save their tires, they might be able to make it up through the field a little bit more. Just lifting early in the run, I think, is going to be important. If you're lifting even a little bit through the corners early in the run, not going full throttle, it could go a long way to a long run tonight.
And if we do get runs long enough where we have to make green flag pit stops, getting on the pit road is going to be a challenge, because we've seen throughout the past couple of races where drivers have a trouble of getting their car woed down. They hit the cone, or they go through their pit box, sliding over it, costing valuable time. Even under caution, they still slide over their pit box. So getting on the pit road is going to be a challenge. And the one big concern I have with that pitting under green is I still feel like if the car behind you doesn't get the memo that you're pitting and then they just ram you from behind, it could create a massive accident.
I was actually surprised at how clean pit stops went from an entry perspective. We saw a lot of drivers hit cones and things on Monday, but no pileups coming onto pit lane, as Shane Therian goes 18th quick. Disappointing qualifying run for him, I think, as a few others start to fall into place. Matthew Cochran's on track. Paul Irvin, Swervin' Irvin, comes across the line and kicks off his first timed lap. See what his second lap can do here with 3 minutes left to qualify.
Hopefully he has a little bit more luck than he did at IRP. It seems like any wreck that happened, he was unfortunately in. From the first wreck on lap 2 all the way to the very end, he just couldn't avoid trouble at IRP. So hopefully he can have a little bit better of a run. Hopefully he can make it 3 miles around this track tonight. I would hope he could do that, but you just never know, as he's going to come out of turn 4, bring it all the way down to the infield grass through the Geico restart zone that we'll use tonight. A 32.183, a fast lap, but a lot of people have gone fast tonight, but I will put him in the top 15 for now, 14th.
Here's the 4 of Matthew Cochran, looking to come across the stripe, gonna slot himself there in the 29th position. And like you mentioned, we've seen drivers go faster on their second lap with their fastest time. So we'll see if the 4 can do the same. Bit of a wide exit there coming out of 2.
Yeah, kind of running middle of the road. I don't think he wanted to pinch off the exit and give up some corner speed to try to, keep the tires scrubbing to stay on the inside. Rolling through 3 and 4. If he wants to be top 20, he's going to have to do better than a 32.199. Across the line, Cochran will come. It'll be a 32.236, which will put him about 24th place, just behind Tom Bourne. A couple other drivers getting on the racetrack late in the run here, and Pierce Maffitt is next up in the 44.
Only 3 other cars on track. Maffitt, one of them. Hunter Collier is on track, and Logan Hartman just getting on track. So looks like maybe only 3 more drivers about to put a time down as we see the 44 machine. As we talked about, we haven't really talked about him a lot this season. Hasn't been one of the main front runners as far as the championship goes, but I believe he is about 9th in the points right now. So might not be flashy, but he's doing exactly what he needs to do to be in that top 12 so far.
Yep, consistency is key, and boy, he got really high there. This is his first lap that he's going to run, so second lap we'll see him on the bottom, but consistency is key. Got to go back to Ryan Newman in 2014 and how he almost won the championship based off his consistency. And oh, there we go.
Here comes
Collier.
Yep. Collier across the line, the 32.821. That was his first lap, though. So he'll go a little quicker on lap 2, I'd imagine, as Maffitt trips the timing and scoring at a 32.814. Logan Hartman is also on track. These guys are just going to finish their second lap, and Hartman, I don't actually know. He's coming out at 4 right now. It's going to be really close. He's going to be able to finish his qualifying effort at their counter, but only with a couple seconds to spare.
He has about 4 seconds to spare, so he should get the second lap in, albeit barely, as everyone else is going to... The other 2 are going to finish their laps. A 32.164 for Collier. Actually a great time compared. 12th place at the line. Maffitt coming across the line to finish his run up here. 32.214. Trips him 22nd. Now we wait on Logan Hartman.
Yeah, Hartman did not have a good night in the truck series. Was caught up in a wreck, multiple laps down. It's a lap truck, which that's going to be another interesting thing to look at as qualifying is about to wrap up. Your lap traffic can only go 2 wide. 3 wide, you can do it for the most part, but you're risking disaster there. They got away with it Monday night, some Tuesday night, a lot. Tonight with the Xfinity cars, I'm not sure how much they're going to be able to get away with.
So racing will kick off here in just a couple of minutes. While we've got a moment, I'd like to thank our starting grid sponsor, Roasted Gems Coffee. Fans, be sure to visit Roasted Gems Coffee for some of the finest coffee from all over the world. Use discount code Area iRacing for 10% off your order at roastedgems.com. Connor and I will roll through the starting lineup here in just a minute. Before we get rolling, though, let's talk a little bit about pit strategy, Connor. We saw it on Monday and we saw it on Tuesday, some green flag runs that led to some green flag stops. Getting onto pit lane is a challenge, but that wasn't such a big deal as blowing through your pit stall, getting pit road speeding penalties that will bog you down. We've seen plenty of green flag racing, and it's hard to come back from a penalty like those.
Yeah, you really can't have any mistakes, but this is one of the easiest racetracks to make a mistake on pit road. It was already difficult before we went to the super speedway configuration. Now it's harder than ever because you're going to be in a pack of cars or trucks, and it's going to be so difficult. Unless they're coming with you, it's going to be tough for them to avoid you. We saw some pit stops on Monday, didn't get to see any on Tuesday, albeit we did have green flag racing on Tuesday, just didn't get far enough for the green flag stops, but you have to be ready in case we go that far. You have to know your numbers, you got to know when to stop, and you got to know who you're stopping with, or you might even stop on your own because of how much of a cluster it might be to fit with other drivers. So that's all going to be in your head as you get closer and closer to your pit stop.
But once again, I feel like towards the end, we'll get that inevitable caution that comes out, and then it'll just be cautions breeding cautions, kind of like what we saw towards the end of Monday night, Tuesday night as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this field of 38, I believe 38 cars, will drive tonight for under 30 laps.
That is what we've got, 38 drivers. Let's roll through our starting lineup. It's now time to go through our Roasted Gems Coffee. Starting grid on row number 1, it's going to be Tommy Ryan in the number 99. Brad Slaughter Jr. rolls off in second on the outside of row 1.
2 or 3 poles for Ryan this week. Colin Fambro is on the 4th place position. Didn't make it to IRP last week. He's here tonight alongside Alan Elwood, who starts in 3rd.
Row number 3, it's James Scioli, the number 7, running second in the championship, but the top seed in the playoffs. Chris Rabel rolls off alongside him in that red, white, and blue number 29.
The hometown winner on Monday, Ricky Harden, starts 7th with another good qualifying run. John Furness, so close to winning. Can he do it tonight? He starts 8th.
9th place, David Wise starting the number 33. Justin Munsell starts in 10th in that pink number 20.
The 26 of Michael Leip starts 11th alongside him. The 98 Hunter Collier in the 12th position, looking for a better run tonight.
Row 7 is Rob Ackley in the number 14 Chevrolet. The number 64 Supra, Ben Robertson, starts 14th.
The ever-recognizable Amp Energy 48 of Swerve and Paul Irvin starts 15th. Alongside him will be the 10 machine of Logan Hartman.
And right behind them, 17th place is A.J. Roderick in the number 69. Greg Mitchell starts alongside him in the number 2 in 18th place.
2 fierce competitors tonight. Bryce Senesac looking for points at 19th. Forrest Smith, the same for him in the 20th position.
21st is Jeff Ryan in the number 37. Shane Therian starts all the way back in row number 11 in 22nd.
Mr. Consistency, we've talked about him already. Pierce Moffitt in the 44 alongside Mike Tellier in the 47 machine.
Ryan Swan starts 25th place in the number 54 alongside Tom Bourne's number 16 in 26th.
Matthew Cochran in the 27th position, and Travis Beckner, the truck winner from Gateway a few weeks ago, he started 28th.
29th place is Andrew Zanto in the number 13. Jeremy Rigney rolls off on the outside of row 15 in the number 41.
A few drivers who need good results starting way at the back. Jacob Hudson and Joshua Franks, 31st and 32nd.
33rd place is Cameron Hearn. Garrett Grant will roll off alongside him.
Very popular Steve Durham, 35th position, and right alongside him at the very back of the field, Justin Lemke in 36th.
And the last row, Russell LePage in the number 22 and James Coey in the number 24. They make up 37th and 38th place as we roll back up towards the front here and get ready to go racing. 130 laps from flag to flag if we go green all the way. It's 1 hour, 9 minutes worth of racing. At Atlanta Motor Speedway, things have been reshuffled, repaved, reprofiled. Bigger, badder, and maybe better. Here we go. Green flag in the air at Atlanta. The Area Lodgebox Series Round 6 is underway. Lap 1 completed, side by side for the top spot. Tommy Ryan and Elwood continue to battle. Fast speeds here, up to 180 down into turn number 1. 2 even lines on the outside and inside, Connor.
Well, they were even, but the outside line drops back a little bit. Tommy Ryan couldn't lead the first lap on Tuesday. He does it tonight. Elwood tried to get to the top to get the run, but couldn't do it. And now he's looking for a push from Brad Slaughter Jr. He's kind of hanging back there, while Scioli, the best pusher last night, pushed David Weishart to the win. He's already looking good tonight as a pusher, Hunter.
Ricky Harden over there at the third car on the inside line, looking to be the second Ricky to win tonight, as Ryan leads that lap. And now here comes the 7 Scioli with a big run on the outside.
Using momentum to get pushed towards the front. He's got the 49 of Elwood behind him. A little bit of a wiggle and a wobble as they exit turn 2, and watch this down the straightaway from the side profile. The different runs you got, the outside gets the momentum, but then they get to turn 3 and 4, and the inside lane will start to get some purchase again as they go the short way around.
I think you see it's a little bit more important to get that run out of turn 4. The outside just prevails so much better out of turn 4 for whatever reason. Scioli's able to lead that lap. Great push from Elwood as they're still 2 by 2, but a much stronger and more firm line on the bottom than on the top line. A little bit spread out up there.
And it'll fluctuate every now and then, as there's Harden getting loose on the bottom. Run up top for the 7 and the 49. It'll be like that. We'll see patches of the inside line just, oh, there's only 3 or 4 cars there, and then in a lap or 2 it'll be filled, and then the opposite will happen. The outside line will have patches, but so far so good for the most part.
Oh, car in the wall in the back. Sorry, didn't see who that was, but someone hit the wall hard. I think that was Rigney. Jeremy Rigney, 41, hit it hard.
Yeah, he pounded it out of turn number 4. And yeah, he's got some significant side damage to the right side of that race car. Let's see if we can quickly go back and jump and see what happened to him out of turn number 4. He got hooked off of Greg Mitchell, I think, here, Connor.
We'll have to see here as we get a replay. Nothing happening, still 2 by 2. Scioli at the front. Here's Mitchell right behind Rigney. Rigney comes up the track there, actually. Thought that was Mitchell, but looks like Rigney kind of struggled to get through the dogleg cleanly, and Mitchell is just nowhere to go there.
Yeah, not sure what that issue was there, but so much for me saying so good, so far so good. As that incident happened, nonetheless, still racing here in Atlanta. Watch the top get the run off the corner here, more pack there. Like I said, there's that patch. There's only 4 cars on that inside line. Got to go back to where John Furness is to try and fill in that gap.
That John Furness in that number 28 started this race in 8th. He's dropped 2 spots here early. He would love to get a victory. I don't know if this is the night in the race that he's going to get it, though. He's been so skilled on the short tracks and road courses in particular. I think he's still got a couple of wins left coming to him, but this is going to be a tough one to win, I think, on luck alone.
Yeah, I think he's definitely got the skill for it tonight, but there's just so much that has to go in your favor to be at the front at the end of one of these races, let alone winning the darn thing. So we'll see if it's Furness's night. It would be on brand with the season he's had, the one race that maybe you're not expecting to win and you do win, but we'll just have to wait and see. Quick note, we're talking about how Therian kind of qualified near the back of the field. Well, he actually made sure to not stay in the back of the field. In fact, he actually got himself way at the back of the field. He started at the pits, and he's 38th, and the lead pack is coming very quickly to him, about 2 seconds a lap faster. Actually, a second a lap, excuse me.
Well, that'll make it interesting early on with lap traffic, as the 7 of Scioli edges out the 99 of Ryan, leading that lap by. And there's the other brother of Ryan, that is Jeff Ryan over there in the KISS 37. He's moved up a few spots so far, running on that outside line. He's kind of in the I wouldn't say the eye of the storm, but he's definitely not in a good spot in case something were to arise.
Yeah, this pack is pretty tight right now, Connor. I don't know what you think about this, but this makes me nervous. Everyone's looking pretty orderly, I'd have to say, but it is packed up really tight. If someone were to have an issue or spin, it will really cause a big one at this stage. The 99 backing up to the 15 of Hardin to get this run, but where do you go with it? He's still stuck door to door with the number 7 of James Scioli.
Well, you got nowhere to go with it. No one's going to see 3 wide, even try 3 wide too early. We only saw it, as we said earlier, about 10, 15 laps to go. We only saw it happen because of drivers on old tires and drivers on fresh tires colliding, and that might be the only way we see it later tonight as well. The trucks were a bit more packed up than this, but even still, this is 2 rows deep all the way back to about the edge of the top 20. So we're going to see this for maybe 5 to 10 more laps, and then we'll see that tire wear start to show its ugly head.
Yeah, towards the back, I think around where Jeff Ryan is, we saw someone try to go 3 wide, might have scraped the wall. I think that was Jeff Ryan. Was that a hand or car in front of him. They got very similar looking colors on it, but they're trying to get a 3 wide.
Second pack forming back here. Matthew Cochran, Coe, Hudson, Lemke, and more. All back here. They're going 3 wide amongst themselves here, Connor. What's the strategy here? I mean, they're out of the main pack, but they're not racing any less risky.
I guess the strategy for them right now is every man for themselves. Seemingly they're going 3 wide. I bet this was caused by the incident in the middle of the pack with Rigney and Mitchell. So it leaves 28 drivers in the lead pack, and then these 7 or so just trying to find somewhere to go, trying to find pace, but going 2 by 2 is definitely not the way to do it as Hudson tries to lead this line, but Cochran doesn't want to give it up either. This definitely isn't helping their case.
Nope, as we focus back towards the front, and there's that gap that we're talking about on the bottom, and there's Justin Munsell in the 20 and the Crumble Cookie Pink number 20 down on the inside, looking a little further back, just how these guys are all spaced out for now, and Justin hoping for a solid run tonight.
Don't want it to all crumble apart. Look at the 44 dropping to the inside all the way on that red line. That's out of bounds here in Atlanta now. You can't go below that in a competition session. Well, wheel-to-wheel competition session, so that's kind of the no man's land. You can go down there to peak, but you can't improve your position. Still side by side, and this has got to be tiring as well, Connor. You know, you talked about the tire wear will be a factor. We'll break this up naturally, but right now this is wearing on you. This is hard work. At Daytona or Talladega, you get yourself in a rhythm, but still, once you get 2 wide, you're still thinking every moment of every race, and you got that 38 coming. Scioli sees him, and now you have to start planning to get through this lap traffic here without causing a big one behind you.
Well, being this tight packed at a smaller track like this, packed up, it's stressful. It takes a toll on you mentally. Not physically, in real life physically, but mentally it would definitely take a toll on you as they're going to have to navigate the first lap car of the night. Therian is going to stay on the top lane to try to not give up too much time here as everyone's 2 wide. The front runners cleanly through it. Therian's in the wall. Everyone will avoid him cleanly for the time being as a little bit of damage, no harm, no foul to the 38. No one else will be lapped for a while, and even if they will, it's the damaged cars of Mitchell and Rigney.
And I say there's another one a little further up the road, but mention about how difficult lap traffic's going to be, especially in the middle of the corner, whether the lap car goes on the outside or on the inside, then they have the rest of the field has to navigate their way around it. Whoever's on that 3rd line near the wall, and you saw it a lap ago, the 38 was in the wall, and it's just how tight these corners are, especially at this speed. And yep, here's the 2 of Mitchell on the outside now, and he's almost in the wall.
Yeah, that was Weishart that squeezed him there a little bit. Couple drivers scattering, but that was the 2 and the 41 of Rigney and Mitchell that the field is navigating by now. The cars that were involved early. Maffitt on the apron to try to give some more space, but now bailing out of this. Doesn't like what he's seeing in front of him.
As he'll likely lose the lead pack because of that. Just let him go a little bit too quickly as he drops him way off the pace, and he'll be the next driver to lose the lead pack. Not too bad of a thing to have happen here, especially when you have a second pack to pick him up, like those 7 will. They're still battling back there. Cameron Hearn's in that pack as well, still trying to get to the lead of it, as Maffitt will definitely have a safety net there once he drops back to them. No harm, no foul on lap 17.
And they about made contact for the 3rd spot between Elwood and Hardin as we look at Steve Durham in the 1, currently dropping towards the rear.
Got the wall in turns 3 and 4 a little bit as well as we jump back to the lead. Ooh, the 99 gets a big shot from the 15. And the wise words of Matt Malone, don't push the pusher, as Justin Munsell gave a shot to the 15 car. You can't see through the car in front of you, and Connor, we're right on board here with Ricky Hardin. Look at how little you can see ahead of that 99. So anything, if you jump back deeper in the field, in Justin Munsell's eyes, he can't see when that 15 gets to the 99. So you have to be conservative with when you give those big pushes because you might be pushing the guy right into someone else at the wrong time.
That's where communication really comes in handy, whether it's a driver you're racing with or maybe a spotter you have for tonight. You got to know when you're pushing someone into someone because that just spells disaster. We've seen so many wrecks involved in the top 3 NASCAR series because of pushing someone into a pusher. You just can't make that mistake, and Justin Munsell, it's going to be something he has to adjust to. He wasn't here on Tuesday night to really adjust to this type of racing, so we'll have to see how much better he does. He's qualified well, and he's doing well so far.
So the rest of the field trying to get a better feel for the car. We're going to start to see tire wear become a factor in how loose these guys are getting. As mentioned, they almost banged doors for the 3rd spot, and they were only about 18 laps on their set of tires now to run on board the 09 Senesac. This is right around where you kind of don't want to be, I would say this is around the eye of the storm, especially with how loose these cars are about to get in the next 10 laps or so.
Here, the little bit of a lift just to get the nose set on the road as he heads into turn one. Senesak is one of the drivers on the outside looking in terms of the playoff picture. He needs a win or to have some better runs. 15th isn't going to do it. He needs some more spots. But as Hunter mentioned, the eye of the storm and the winds are swirling. Look at Irvin all over the back of the 29 of Rabel through turn 4.
Really doing a good job staying nice and close, but got to be careful. Can't get them too loose by being on the rear bumper, or else you might cause a wreck, so got to be careful there. I would agree with the notion Senesak's in the eye of the storm, but he's not where the wreck's going to happen. He's just at this point where when the wreck does happen, he's going to have nowhere to go. He's in the middle of the pack and on the outside line, which really somewhat limits your options when you have all that space below the red and white line there, as you got to be careful. Everyone getting really antsy here.
Yep, that was hard and giving the bump to Ryan in the 99, getting him squarely before entering the corner, as it's still kind of a two-lane traffic brigade with the 7 of Skyler leading the outside, the 99 of Ryan leading the inside. Other than that, really not much has changed inside the top 10.
Even 2x2, clicking away laps like it's nothing right now, which keeps the pace of the race up, which is a good thing, but it's going to make drivers frantic. Right now, maybe not on lap 23, but with how fast these laps are going by, if we can get to lap 60, 70, 80 like this, you know, I know, granted, we're going to have some tire fall off, but drivers start to get impatient because they know the race is going by very quickly. If we were getting yellows every 10, 15, 20 laps, then you would slow this the race pace down, and it wouldn't be so scary for drivers to be running such quick lap times here so quickly.
And it just gets more and more scary. The more the tires wear, the more the drivers wear out mentally, and the more work you have to do behind the wheel of these race cars. It's almost impossible for it to last at Atlanta here with this configuration. Scioli, a little bit of a wiggle. The 49's going to have to sort of let them back in line there, but it starts to all wear on you, and eventually someone's going to wear out. Big bump there to the 99. Eventually someone's going to wear out and make a tiny bit of a mistake that could just jeopardize everything for these drivers.
Yeah, almost saw it there with the 99 loose and the 7 having to back off the corner, as it's still like rush hour traffic, except everybody's going and there's no stopping.
Alan Elwood already locked in. He can be aggressive. He's chasing Skylerly, who's also got 2 wins and is locked into the playoffs. And Skylerly gets a little nose ahead here. That 99 seems like he keeps getting these big pushes into the entry of the corner, but they're not really doing anything for him there. If he can get a push on exit, that might be helpful because you can use that down the straightaway. But on entry, Connor, it's probably not doing much other than destabilizing that number 99.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the 15, along with pushing him into the corner, it's very tough pushes, no gradual bumps or anything, just slam into you. Wow, Scioli got sideways. He's way up the track. Incredible save, but there goes his track position. What a job to at least keep it from wrecking there, as it's a frantic frenzy to get by him now.
And this is where, oh, and he's blinking too, so adding insult to injury, and looks like he got picked up by Weishart in the 33, so a little sportsmanship there from DWR zone, David Weishart, as we take a look at a replay just to see how the 7, you just see, gets loose and just corrals it up the track, and that allows Elwood to get by.
Wow, big moment there for Scioli, and a great job catching it. Wonder if the internet issue maybe had a piece to do with that, if he had a little bit of net code or something that kind of bubbled into the car chasing him that caused that slip up, but he drops in line into 6th place, and he'll continue. Great driving there to keep that from turning into something a lot more. Tommy Ryan's now clear out of turn number 2 as we head down the backstretch, Connor.
I think we're seeing that point where the tire is starting to wear. We saw it a little earlier in the truck race. We're around lap 25, and Scioli was the first big slide of the night, and we're starting to see a lot more instability from everyone else at the front, especially that 7, the 99, and 15 having moments on the bottom. Meanwhile, Alan Elwood and David Weishart don't care. Now they're trying to go to the front.
That 15 of Harden is starting to scare me a little bit with how loose he's getting and how much he's having to chase it up the track, especially right there on corner exit a lap ago. And then just now, as Elwood trying to take command and take the lead with the 33 of Weishart, Tuesday night's winner, right behind.
Through 3 and 4. Trying to watch the steering wheels in the cockpits. That time they were pretty steady. Love the red tape on the wheel as you can watch drivers chase the steering And it's one of those heart-stopping moments, Connor, when you feel the car get light in the rear and you're in front of a field of 37.
Oh, Irvin in the wall. Hard hit there, and it's going to take out more drivers. Jeff Ryan's in the wall. A couple more sliding. No yellow yet. We might stay green if they keep it down there. Nope, yellow's out.
Wow, that was such a hard hit.
5-car
Oh,
Garrett
look
Grant
out.
turned around.
Oh, my goodness.
Sideways.
Second pack almost slammed into him.
Wow, okay, let's break this one down with the Simrat Market replay. Oh, wow, holy cow, I didn't see that when it was first happening. I was looking down at the control panel, but watch this again.
Yeah, it just snapped, and unlike Scully, he couldn't save it. Oh, my gosh, huge hit. And everyone else kind of panicked seeing that Tellier slid. Ryan Swan part of those sliding. And Garrett Grant kind of collateral damage and all that. It's just all that was caused by the reaction to how hard that 48 hit.
Yeah, Irvin just right here. Oh, it just steps out. And
Ooh, Senesac.
that big tank, that would ring your bell if this was the real world there, Connor. That was certainly.
Oh, yeah.
He chases it down the hill, then corrects it, and snaps into the fence, and then comes off the wall, and everyone else just kind of scatters. Ooh, who got up in the outside? That was the 37.
Jeff
car.
Ryan.
Yep.
Then Tellier got sideways. Swan got sideways behind him. Trying to see who that is behind Swan, who went into the inside wall. And Garrett Grant got a piece of it. Is that Tom Bourne?
Yeah, Tom Bourne in the 16.
So yeah, that's kind of crazy how the 48 wasn't really the one who caused the other wreck. It was just everyone scrambling, seeing a driver hit the wall and thinking, oh, geez, I got to get to the bottom. And everyone kind of fought for the bottom against the apron, and the apron won.
Indeed, and almost unfortunate that the second pack was able to avoid those two sitting towards the back. But unfortunate for the 37 of Jeff Ryan as we ride on board Garrett Grant. Just clipping it. Just that little touch is all it takes.
Minor damage, should be able to repair that. Maybe it's a little bit more than I at first thought. So cars have come down and released from pit lane. And for the majority of the field, 4 tire stops. The exceptions there, Alan Elwood and Justin Munsell take 2. Connor, your thoughts on that?
Definitely an interesting one for sure, but the left sides might not be wearing as much, but even still this early in the race, I don't know if it was too crucial for them to get the track position that early, especially they were in the top 5 anyways. I think both of them were in the top 5. Munsell was 7th at worst, so definitely if you want that track position, go for it, but we'll see how that works out. We'll see if that hurts the handling earlier in the run and see if they can maintain if we get another 30-plus lap run like that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this first restart goes, and it'll kind of paint a picture of what we can expect on these restarts for the rest of the night. As the 48, I'm shocked he's still going.
I think that would be a trip to the infield care center if this was real life, no matter how he got it back going, but he does continue on the lead lap still.
And the only car that's not rolling right now is Jeff Ryan's 37. I think he's actually out of the car as well. But
yes, he is.
The other 37 cars are back rolling at least as the lights are out atop the pace car, and that means next time by, Connor, we go back green.
Yeah, Ryan was one of those who kind of hit the wall just trying to avoid the 48 slapping it, but we will go back green. Shane Therian got the lucky dog through all that, so starting from the pits works out. He had a little right side damage after scraping it to get out of the leader's way, but he gets back on the lead lap and is able to maybe try to start to charge his way up to the front, albeit 30 laps late. As kind of interested to see how these 2 tires work for the leaders. I don't think they'll have any issues getting pushed for the very beginning, but I think maybe we'll see their tires start to give out. We might start to see them slide a little earlier than we saw the 7 and the 48 slide.
Yeah, 2 tires will definitely be interesting because we've only seen, I think it was, who was it Monday night? I'm sorry, I'm forgetting their name. It was Cogswell, Jonathan Cogswell, that's who it was. He stayed out, and no one went with him. They all went with the other drivers on newer tires. So 2 tires, be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, so just the top 2 are on 2 tires. Everybody, well, actually, no, AJ Roderick is also on 2, but everybody else, at least near the front, is on 4. So AJ Roderick and then the front 2 are the drivers on 2 tires. Green flag back in the air, a little bobbling and wobbling in the background as we get back underway. Lap 34 of 130. We head down to turn number 1, and here we go. Great launch for the 49, not so much for the 20, Connor.
just the Munsell was not ready for that. And that's really not what he needs either. He needed to keep track position, but he's going to be back to the 4th position now. And Elwood's going to have no friends here as Munsell's getting split 3 wide by Weishart. Tommy Ryan went to the outside of Elwood to get the race lead back. Harden sticking with him as they're going to go 3 wide. First action we've seen all night.
Well, I guess you could say that 20 car crumbled on the initial restart, but now they're all dialed back in, double wide. Fortunately, no 3 wide down the middle pickle as Ryan is taking over as the leader with Harden behind. But here comes Elwood on the inside with the 20 of Munsell.
Good run from the 49 here. Maybe this tire decision wasn't as much of a mistake as we first thought on the launch. Good run here by both of those drivers on the bottom as they head down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Elwood tries to edge ahead, but Ryan has the advantage. A little slide, a big slide rather, from the 49, Connor, as he catches it in turn 3.
He's already sliding. Munsell a little bit of a slide as well. All drivers on 2 tires on the bottom. Roderick just not quite up to those 2 yet as the outside line surges ahead. 99's clear. He's just going down a little bit more to maybe give the 15 cleaner air and maybe disrupt the 49's there as well. As it's kind of the first we've seen drivers try to control lanes. Roderick sideways again. 2 tires. I thought it would take a little longer for them to look unstable. They already look unstable.
Harden now on the outside of Ryan, as they are really spacing out behind the top 6 or so, especially on that bottom. But Ryan's going to leave this lap by, but look for the 15 of Harden to get that run heading into the turn. I still feel like his car is just a bit too loose, that 15 of Harden.
Watch the 49. He's all over the place right now, but the 99 slips up, and the 49's got a great run, but nowhere to go with it. I just don't like how loose that 49 car is, Connor. I'm surprised the balance changed that much, but he is just absolutely just crab walking it through 3 and 4. Look at that car go up the track.
Man, I'm more concerned about AJ Roderick, not just because he's off these 2, but
Munsell, big slide. Sorry, Connor.
Yeah, another 2 tired. All the guys on 2 tires are kind of wishing they took 4 right now. Track position's cool until you're into the outside wall with a huge hit, but Roderick is really struggling. It's hurting those guys on the inside lane because he just can't get up there to help and push. And no one on that outside line is going to go down there to try to help him because they want to get past those guys. So Roderick's either going to have to find his way to the top or someone's going to have to force him to the top. I don't think they're going to want to do that too early on him. Roderick's really sliding the rears now.
Boy, that inside line is getting held back from Roderick.
3 wide.
Oh, here we go. 3 wide for the lead. Weishart going to put Harden on the outside. Nearly got on the wall. Barry Meyer just scraped it. But Weishart looking to get up to the front, leading the outside line with teammate James Scioli pushing in pursuit. Harden falls to the back as the rest of the field looks to, not check up, but looking to process. Well, no, check up was the right word. What am I saying?
Scattering all over the racetrack as they went 3 wide for the lead, but I'm still watching the 20 car in particular really struggling with that rear end grip, the same as AJ Roderick, and that scramble at the front kind of stopped the bleeding for the 69 car for now. But who's way high in 3 and 4, 1 and 2? That's Cameron Hearn in the 67. Where did he come from? We haven't talked about him up front all night.
He was in the 2nd pack, got the yellow he needed to get back up here, and he's all the way up to 11th place already. He was the first one to really try the outside 3 wide, big stack of...
the 20 car! Munsell sideways on the apron.
He's going to save it, still sliding. He's going to keep it straight. What a job, but he's got to get it back going. He'll likely lose the lead pack, but he at least saved the race car and probably a dozen others.
We'll take a look at it from the SimRap market replay, and man, what a job he did. Paul Irvin did that on Tuesday night. Similar thing over in turn 1 and 2. Just got loose on that apron and kept it straight. And now that inside line really starting to feel the effects of it. And now here comes Ricky Harden looking to fill in that line. But the top is more stacked than ever.
Cameron Hearn, big head of steam in that upper groove. Started 33rd, now up to 9th place, but he has found the roadblock of John Furness in the 28, who's moved from the bottom to the top as one car leaves pit lane. It's the 37 of Jeff Ryan after his repairs. He's now 8 laps down, but the front is getting spicier the further we get into this race.
Cameron Hearn's looking for revenge. He put on a show at IRP. The fastest car, at least one of the top 2 fastest cars. He made Lightning McQueen type moves with how he passed through the grass, and it all came crumbling down after his wreck on the green-white checkered attempt. So definitely trying to kind of pick one up here after he might feel like he lost one at IRP. He's got good progress going so far. He's up from 33rd all the way up to 9th. Joshua Franks, also a big mover, 32nd to 10th. So those 2 guys are making their way to the front with ease.
And up at the front, the 7 of Skyle, he continues to blink in and out. Hopefully that won't be more of an issue going forward, because that's definitely going to affect the rest of the guys around him and definitely behind him. Here's Ryan Swan, who was almost a part of that caution. He was sliding a little bit, but he kept the car rolling straight, just a couple spots shy of the top 10.
Watch the 9 on the bottom. Joshua Franks, a little bit of movement there. Cameron Hearn looks very impatient right now. He looks like he wants to go forward. He just doesn't have any place to do it.
It's too early to already lose your patience. We still have, what, 80-plus laps to go. You can't lose your patience now. Got to be a little bit more smart about the moves you make. But if you got the speed, you might as well go for it. And that's what the 67's had a lot of already tonight, as he's made his way into the top 10 looking for more.
Yeah, he was one that was trying to experiment that third line Tuesday night in the Truck Series. Couldn't get any helpers to go with him, though. Would peek the nose up there quite a bit, but didn't have anyone that could go with him, so he just kind of kept going clean there and tucking back in line. But Cameron Hearn is one willing to push the issue, or push the envelope, no matter what time is left in the race.
Seems like the 2-tire call for Elwood, it hasn't really hurt him that bad in terms of track position, and it seems like, Connor, now that the tires have had a couple laps to kind of temperature equalize, that it doesn't seem like the balance is as bad as it was soon after that restart. It's looking a little bit more stable now, so I don't think it was a big gain. Just definitely didn't lose him a lot like we initially expected.
He's really been the only one to make it work. We saw Munsell slide. AJ Roderick's just barely in the top 20. He's 19th last time across the line, so he's been the only one to make it work. He really didn't need to do it, though. I think he was already second in line on the top most of the time last run, and that's kind of where he is, except on the bottom now, so he's kind of breaking even. So good that it's working for now, but don't think it was really worth it. But what am I to say that it's not worth it? He's the one behind the wheel, and he's the one making the calls, and it's clearly working out for him.
We continue to look at the 99 of Rhine leading things here in Atlanta. Bit of a chaotic restart. It's kind of simmered out for now, but for how much longer? They've got lap traffic heading into turn 1. This is going to be interesting.
Oh, the 2 of Greg Mitchell on the outside, and the 48 of Paul Irvin. Navigating it pretty well. A little tight out of turn number 2, but they navigate it well, for at least for the first half of the field, Connor.
Looks like they'll get away free with that. Both of those drivers way down on pace after huge hits. Andrew Zanto slides up the track. They're still 3 wide getting around him. Looking like they're all going to make it work. And meanwhile, we're back to that locked-in, dead-even racing that we saw the first 25 laps of the last run as 2x2. Really no issues. A little bit of a wiggle there, almost a touch for second place, but Tommy Ryan's been in control this time, almost without a doubt.
Yeah, he was in control for the most part on Tuesday night. Just got caught up in a wreck there at the very end. Hoping that doesn't happen again tonight, and he can end it on a higher note. Pun not intended for his truck literally flying in the air, but for the most part, it's flying on the ground as he is still leading. But the 33 of Weissart still with the run from Scioli, trying to get that nose in front of the 99.
It seems like planned progress is hard to make. Progress accidentally is pretty easy to make, and a bad run is easy to do, but it seems like if you want to move forward, it is extraordinarily difficult to figure out how to do that. This is like when Daytona or Talladega ends up 3 wide, Connor. You just have no place to put your car that won't cause a wreck.
I'd say it's like when Daytona gets 3 wide. I think if you're 3 wide at Dega, I'll find a 4th wide somewhere. But here, it's pretty difficult to do that. Your best bet is really someone on the outside line sliding up and filling that hole in the middle of the racetrack. I think that's your best bet. Trying to go 3 wide on the outside, maybe if you have the run, but it's going to be so difficult to keep it out of the wall. So if you see drivers leaving room in the middle of the racetrack, if you want to get to the front in a quick amount of time, you almost have to take it and risk getting pinched a little bit. It's really going to be difficult to make those moves, even from 10th place where Cameron Hearn is.
Josh Frank scraping the wall over there in 3 and 4. They have the field starting to get more spread out throughout the top 10 and back area. As there's the blue and white number 28 of Travis. Actually, is that 27, Travis Beckner?
Yes.
All right. So Travis Beckner, I've been noticing that he's been making some moves to fill in gaps and get closer towards the front. Beckner won the area 500s, so he knows a thing or two about super speedway racing, and he got a podium finish Monday night in the Cup Series, so he knows what it takes to get up to the front, nearing the halfway point of this race. And I gotta say that from where he started to where he's at now, I feel pretty comfortable if I'm Travis Becker.
Oh, Joshua Franks went to the apron. Thought he was wrecking, but he wasn't. Just getting out of the way.
He doesn't feel very comfortable, I think. He just got in the wall last time around, and now scattering himself onto the apron to get out of the way is Bryce Senesac, leading a little bit of a party back here. Mike Tellier in the 47, Tom Bourne in the 16. This car was in the fence on the back straightaway at the last caution, so a pretty good recovery. That FRN Toyota's had the rear end smashed in, but it's not slowing him down a whole lot. He's back up to 16th place.
Oh, Joshua Franks is struggling. He dropped back, and he's still struggling to keep the car on the bottom of the racetrack. Almost stood up on Ed Robertson, who got damaged in the last yellow. Oh, there's Shane Therian finally trying to make his way through the field. He's up to, I believe, the 23rd-ish position, somewhere around there. As this is something different. This runs a little bit different. We saw a lot more tight-packed racing, 2x2 all the way back to the top 20 in the first run. This time, you really only see the top 10 or so racing right now. Everyone else kind of biding their time, waiting to see what happens before they get back up there.
Got perfect picture right here on board the 38 of Shane Therian, as it's more tightly packed up to around the top 10 spot or so, but then start to get more spread out from 11th on back. And I think these guys are just buying their time. They still know there's a lot of racing left, so they don't want to tear up their car too much. Well, most or some want to get up to the front as quick as possible. But for the most part, they're, well, forget everything I just said. Elwood's now gone to the bottom. Weishart going to try. Oh,
wow.
no, loose. 49 was loose. Now the 33 is going to have a big enough run to maybe get alongside Elwood coming out of 4. Nope, not even close.
Paced it up the hill, a lane and a half out of turn 2, Connor. He's definitely got his hands full. I thought the handling came back to him, but it seems like in certain scenarios it can still kind of snap on him, and he's just had quick hands.
I think what was helping him was dirty air, but he got out into the front, and immediately that car jerked sideways. And I think that's to do with clean air on the nose and the 99 all over his rear bumper through the corners. It's not a good combination when you only have 2 tires on that thing, and even still, not too big of a wiggle that time, but you could see he's kind of sawing on it, trying to keep it straight here. So dirty air, I think 2 tires might work, but if you want the race lead with 2 tires, you might struggle to hold it down.
John Furness got high in the middle of 3 and 4, nearly got into the wall. But here comes the 33 of Weishart with the bump from the 7 and the 80.
Oh, wreck in the back, yellows out. Wreck back, trying to see who that was.
That's Therian.
It is Shane Therian.
Grinds to a halt entering turn number 1 and facing up the banking, the wrong direction for a car here at Atlanta. Let's check the SimRat market. Oh, contact with the 9. That's what tripped the whole thing off. Came back down the racetrack and got clobbered by the 4 of Cochran. Absolutely obliterated there. And back up the road.
Not sure if the 9 was upset or just couldn't handle his car after the hit, but let's see. He gets hit there. He comes back down the track pretty hard. I think that was Ed Robertson who got hit in the door. Ooh, I think that was Durham with a great job getting through there, but that's kind of a second one we've seen where something at the back causes the run to end. Big hit here, as we'll see on board Steve Durham here. Play as comes up the track here, turn it dead left. There's a car in front of you. Great job getting through that.
Sure, if the 38 got loose trying to go up in the quad oval, because it looked awkward with how high that 38 went with no one around him. And there's a massive hit from Cochran on the 38 of Therian. The roof flaps do deploy, keeping the car on the ground. Testament to the safety of sport of NASCAR.
And that car is going to be absolutely junk after this one. Here it is again from turn 1 camera. It all happens pretty quick, but be kind of in the middle of your screen here.
Yeah, it starts over there, and it's going to come all the way down into turn number 1 here. There's the hit in the door right there. It pushes them all the way into turn 1. Still a great job by Steve Durham. It's unfortunate for Therian, but that's what happens when you're kind of at the back. Those types of things can happen.
Pit road is a busy place right now, Hunter, as everybody's going to strap on some new Goodyears, but again, I think Elwood probably got saved by this. He can get back on sequence with everybody else and put another 4 on, but do you want to, though, with limited tire sets?
Oh, looks like did the 33 beat him out? It was a photo finish coming out of pit road.
I think he did, and everybody took 4 tires that time. Nobody on a 2-tire call. Probably a good decision, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say so as well.
It's a safe decision, safe bet to make. The 2-tire experiment, it kind of worked, then again, kind of didn't. on edge on edge more than usual. So 4 tires, everybody's on the same strategy here.
You're watching the Area Lodgebox Series from Atlanta. We're 60 laps into our 130-lap event. Fans, be sure to check out simratmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple to use and help you stay more focused on the racetrack. All right, we're about 5 laps from halfway, Connor. Anybody in particular that piques your interest in this one? Who do you got winning this thing?
It's going to be hard to beat Tommy Ryan right now. He's been really controlling the lanes. He was really good on the top in the first run. Actually, no, he's been on the bottom all night long, excuse me. But he's been strong on the bottom of the racetrack all night long. And even when that outside gets runs, they just don't have the strength to clear that 99, no matter who's pushing him, whether it's Ricky Harden, James Scioli, whoever it is, that 99 has been fast. So it's going to be hard to beat him tonight.
Hunter, who you got winning this thing based off the race so far?
My gut's telling me the 99 of Ryan, but my heart is saying that Brad Slaughter's going to win. It just seems like he's been fast here every race that we've had. Was close to winning on Monday night and then got caught up in an incident taken away. I just feel like Brad Slaughter's going to be there when you least expect it.
I'm going to pick the 33, David Weishart. I like that he's running up front right now. I like that he's been relatively conservative with the moves he's been making and is likely going to last to the end of the race. He's led a couple already. Just needs to lead one more, the final one, to win his first race of the season.
Kind of in the same spot that we saw Tuesday night in the truck race, how we got sort of 30-ish lap runs and then yellows that weren't really big ones. Sort of the same theme tonight here, as we've seen a few leaders, but majority, for the most part, we've seen the same guys up at the front end. Something different from super speeder racing, the fall off seemingly around maybe 7 to 8 tenths over a 30-lap run. So if we can get a little bit longer than that, we'll see how that comes into play. But if you do go green here, we still have the possibility of green flag pit stops. Don't want to jinx it, but I don't think I need to jinx it for it to potentially go out the window, but we'll just have to wait and see.
This race is going to be done in 36 minutes if we go green from here on out to the end. This is going by very, very quickly. Pace car pulls off. We're going to restart at lap number 62 of 130. Weishart is in command in that red Matco Tools Chevrolet Camaro. And green flag is back in the air, back underway in the Area Lodgebox Series from Atlanta. Good launch on the turn 2 by the 49 of Elwood. Big push from the 15 of Ricky Harden. Into turn 3, we're already back up to speed at 170 miles an hour. 3 wide behind him, and that's Hearn on the way outside, pushing Furness in a slide from the 47 of Tellier as he tries to gather it back up.
Yeah, I don't think Taylor wanted to be the par 3 wide at this point in the race, just letting them by. Can't blame him for that, as Hearn's been the aggressor on these restarts, no doubt about it, but hasn't been able to do much once we get back up to speed. Ever since he got to 10th place is kind of where he's hovered, unable to make any moves.
Hearn is one, like I said, willing to push the issue. Saw it there first lap on the restart, trying to see what he could get from going 3 wide and all the way up near the wall. Outside line looking like the more preferred
Oh, big
line.
wreck out of 4. Number of drivers in this one. Steve Durham's one of them. Forrest Smith through the grass, Munsell, Tom Bourne. That was a huge hit.
Munsell in the 20. And the 16 of Bourne is on pit lane, already slowing to a stop. Third caution of the night, just after a restart. Let's see how this one kicked off in the Simrat Market replay.
See, Munsell got involved. Durham was in it as well.
I think it's going to start with the... Ooh.
Oh, Jacob Hudson's in the wall, and Munsell couldn't check up before
Oh,
Durham.
holy cow,
Whoa.
the 16 airborne.
Tom Bourne airborne.
So that started with Hudson in the wall. That's what really started all this, as we'll see Tom Bourne just trying to find somewhere to go. He tried to go low, and Munsell closed that gap, and that is a huge hit to the front bumper of the 16. As we'll see, 96... Looks like he might just get a bit too high. Gets loose and slams the wall hard, similar to what we saw with Paul Irvin.
The 1 took a big hit to the outside lane, and then the 16 and the 20 are the real big hits there. Oh.
Man, that is a huge, huge hit for both of those drivers there.
Here it is again for the 16 as he comes out of turn number 4. And he's going to see it try to turn down and out of the way, but there's not a lot you can do. You're at the limit of his tires like he is here. Bam.
Yeah, poor Munsell probably thought he got through the thick of it with minimal damage, and then Tom Bourne trying to avoid it himself, just couldn't get slowed down. Like you said, saw a gap, tried to go for it, and just closed up at the very end. We'll see on his onboard here. Ugh, that is it heart drops when something like that happens. It just really does.
And when you go from seeing just the racetrack to just seeing the sky, you're rethinking everything.
Oh, that hurts for Durham as well, because the moment he's spinning to the inside, and to the inside as a spin isn't that big of a deal, but as soon as he hits the 10 on the bottom of the racetrack, he gets redirected to the outside right here, and that is a gnarly angle to hit as well.
I've seen that angle out of turn 4 too many times. It's a vicious hit. It's just nowhere to go, and he did the right thing to check up. Munsell just couldn't do it in time. Logan Hartman at the wrong place, wrong time as well, and that's not going to look very good. Rear tires come off the ground and everything. Hudson actually gets away with it compared to what it could have been for him. It's really unfortunate for a lot of guys who just couldn't get checked up in time for that.
1 to green already. Lights are out of the pace car. We're going to re-rack them and restack them. And the car is involved in that. Tom Bourne is on pit lane, and that car is likely done for the night. You see the 4 of Cochran, who is getting some more service. Looks like Justin Munsell is back rolling. The good news for him is that rear damage isn't a huge deal here in iRacing, so he should be able to continue, albeit with probably a little less aero than he had before.
Lack of rear aero might not help him here with how sideways you can get with someone on your rear bumper. And at this track,
I don't think it was going to help him either way, but...
Well, no, it was never going to help. Maybe at a smaller track it might help him, but here you don't want someone to hit you the wrong way. But now, with the damage you're in, there's no right way to hit that 20 in the bumper to push him forward, and it's going to be really tough in the corners to really handle that, I think.
I feel like a lot more drivers are going to have that issue later on in the race. Just not having the bumper, front or rear, to be able to push the car in front of you without almost spinning them out.
Iteration tour. Get the official halfway point of this race. Last time by, so we'll be restarting lap number 67. Quick look at a race recap. The Area Lodgebox Series round number 6, 25 lead changes. We had 13 the last time we looked at this graphic, which was not that long ago. So the lead changes continuing to rise. We get back underway. Green flag back in the air, lap number 67. Racing again in the Area Lodgebox Series.
Big run for the 99 of Ryan. He's going to go to the outside and try to take the lead back.
Got the 49 of Elwood going to give him that bump. And there's Cameron Hearn looking 3 wide right behind these guys. Almost flirting with the wall. Going to get tight here on corner exit with Ryan Swan. Yeah, it looks like it'll work out for him because Brad Slaughter had a moment there on the inside, but Hearn's still trying to push the envelope.
He's trying, he just can't quite get the overlap he needs, doesn't have the help behind him, but he is using every inch of this racetrack in Atlanta. They just repaved it, Connor, so it's all good pavement, but that's probably being a little aggressive, but he needs to get something as Tommy Ryan drops to the inside and retakes the lead. Look at the 67 again, he's in the wall in turn 3.
Only a light tap down won't hurt him, but what's really hurting him is he doesn't have anyone going up there with him. He's the only one trying to make a move to the front. Everyone else is pretty content with running 10th to 15th with still 60 laps of racing to go. I think if one other driver wants to get to the front, they should link up with that 67. I think they might have a really good chance of going to the front.
I think his experimenting is over, and not only did it hurt him, but it hurt the rest of the outside line, although Elwood now still having a run on the outside. It's hurting everyone behind because of how spread out they are.
Big gains, though, when there's no one in front of Cameron. He's carrying really good speed. He's still trying it, still thinking about it. Maybe trying to coax the 54 to go up there with him, too, but I don't think they're going to get anybody to play ball with that at this stage of the race. Maybe with 15, 20 laps to go, I'd jump up there, but I don't know if I want to make it 3 wide myself if I don't have to do that right now.
I wonder if Furness would want to help him. Remember, I think late in the race at IRP, Hearn was the one who gave the bumper to the 28 to get him out of the way. So I don't know if Furness would be too keen on helping that 67 as his front pack getting a little bit more tight as the 49 really pinches Tommy Ryan off the corner, getting the run off before he'll lead another lap here as Scioli wondering when he's going to try to go for the race lead. The last 2 races, he's been the greatest pusher in area series history, but sooner or later you think he's going to try to go to the front.
I don't think he can with how squirrely the 54 is.
Go Swan. Nope,
Yep,
he's going to get
just
forced
mentioned
out.
Nope, he's got. Oh, Cameron Hearn thought about going with him, and now, just like Tuesday night, Ryan Swan on his own on the outside. Harden getting loose on the middle, so both those cars dropping towards the back. Here comes a massive run for Elwood on the outside.
Ooh, squeeze from the 54 to the 18. The 54 just said there is a hole and this car is going there. He jammed it in there and managed to make it fit before he wadded up the field there, Connor.
Good job on Fambro to lift in time. No contact was even made, actually, because Fambro was heads-up driving, allowed himself to get on the binders, or at least lift hard to get out of them. Fambro wasn't happy with that on the radio. Can't blame him, but as Ryan Swan, track position's everything so far. You need to keep what you can.
And now that puts Hearn third on the outside line, and just waiting until there's a big enough gap to where the 67 can go inside.
Oh, sorry, Hunter. Cars were
crash!
sliding.
Turn 2, the 9 cars around, and it's going to take 2, 3, 4, 5 out as they crash on the backstretch now.
Hartman, Robertson, Zanto. Frank's still going backwards. It's huge hits there again. The big one at the back, James Cooey might have gotten the worst of that with no front end.
Yeah,
we'll take a look at it on the SimRap Market replay, and that's kind of the after effects of what happened. So, what happened in front of the 9 of Frank's?
Pierce Maffitt.
That was kind of a chain reaction after that.
Ugh. More huge hits. That was Pierce Maffitt. Don't know who he was on the bottom of, but he got sideways under someone there, and it's what really set that off.
Is that the 69 of AJ Roderick? I think it is.
Yes.
Up into each other. It sets the 9 up for the slide, and then the Zanto and the 24. 64 slides in there with a head of steam, turns the 13 around the 9, takes a big hit to the outside wall, ping-pongs off the outside fence, and the 10 of Hartman just a little bit of damage, and I think he gets hit again at the bottom of this, trying to get on through it. There was one other car that snuck kind of through that. Who was that at the bottom of the blue car?
Oh my
22
God.
car. Russell LePage.
Russell LePage. I don't know how he got through that with no damage. Some drivers coming down the pit road. I think this really puts a lot of drivers in their fuel window, so have to look at that. Let's look at LePage. Doesn't see anything. He might have gotten contact on the right front, but for what it could have been, that was a heck of a job.
I'll say. Cars on pit lane, but just mostly drivers towards the back are ones that are repairing crash damage, and that list is getting longer. Approach the tail end of this race. 5 of Garrett Grant, and the 67 of Cameron Hearn is on pit lane. That is an interesting decision. There was not a lot of other drivers around him that came with.
Like I said, this might, I don't exactly know what the fuel window is, but it could be a situation where it gets some of these drivers close if they get a little bit of time maybe being able to coast. So we'll have to wait and see. A run to the end from here where Hearn just pit would be about 55, 56 laps. So if we get a fuel run, it could be in a good spot. But from what we've seen, the most we've been able to get tonight is 30. So I don't see that getting any better.
Yeah, I was going to say, you'd have to be banking on the race going green to the finish, and there's no way that's happening. I mean, you could go single file through here, and someone will get loose and just smack it into the wall. And I'm just saying, the caution's inevitable to happen, especially the later we get in the race. But I appreciate the bold call that Hearn makes, and it'll be interesting to see how he goes from the back to the front again if he goes 3 wide multiple times.
Well, as we get closer and closer to the end of this race, the lights are off on the pace car, and things are bound to get spicy. There's the Rick's Hot Sauce car running in third with James Scioli. Fans, be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Be sure to follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see who will take home the $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in point standings. Well, quick look at the recap again. Had 4 lead changes in the last 6 or 7 laps, and that number just continues to climb as the rest of the field. I think there's a couple that are chasing the pack. getting caught back up. Now, at this stage of the race, there are 35 cars that are rolling, and there are 30 exactly on the lead lap. There are 3 cars 1 lap down, and the furthest up ahead of those, Tom Bourne. So he is the free pass driver. At the next opportunity, we get a yellow, assuming that he stays in that position.
Everyone's still in the session. Shane Therian, Matthew Cochran, Jeff Ryan. Jeff Ryan's still rolling. Cochran and Therian been on pit road repairing damage for a while. Don't know if they'll rejoin the race, but this gets interesting. First driver on new tires is Hearn, and he only dropped to 18th. And he's gotten from the back to the front already. We'll see what he can do on this restart. Watch that 67 to go to the top.
And up front, leaders have pit about 15 laps ago. So fresh tires, 15 laps newer. We'll see if it matters. Lap 77 back underway. Elwood fires off a great launch, but is it too much, Connor, as they head to turn 1?
I think it's always too much, but I don't think he's too concerned because he's not going to drop back much further than maybe 4th with getting this launch, especially if he's got Scioli to help push him. Tommy Ryan on the outside.
Who said he was going to help push him?
Oh, look out. Oh, Ricky
Oh,
Harden.
the 47 sideways on the backstretch. Tellier chases it to the inside wall. He gathers it up and tries to get back on the banking into turn 3, and he's going to squeeze the 96 and 20, who were just in a wreck a couple of laps ago. We get out of turn 4, though, for the lead here. Hunter as we head on the front straight.
Ricky Harden, I thought Ricky Harden was going to cause the incident by sliding up right in front of Tommy Ryan, but the 47, a great save right there, Hunter.
I was going to say, who said the 7 was going to help the 49? Anytime someone gets a big enough gap to where they can go on the outside, they take it. Saw the 7 do that, and then the accordion effect that pursued behind them. And now the 7 leading the outside with Ricky Harden, so that's going to be an interesting combo. And the 99 of Ryan down to 6th on the leaderboard. Haven't seen him that far back in God knows how long. But Elwood holding his own on the bottom with Chris Rabel now. Haven't talked about him too much tonight.
Now, Rabel started, I think it was that far back, started up in 6th place. Here he is up into 3rd. I think this is the highest we've seen him run. There's the 67. 3 wide in the backdrop, no surprises there. He's trying to gain ground, but the only way he's been able to do it is up on the high lane as the leaders continue to battle door-to-door, Connor.
Ooh, worried about Ricky Harden. We've seen him sideways earlier today, but it was on the bottom. Now he's on the top trying to hold the line and push the 7 of Skyly at the same time. I don't mean to be rude, but it spells a recipe for disaster at 15. Starting to already struggle a little bit. Meanwhile, you can't help but watch Cameron Hearn try to make the moves he is. He's up to 14th, and he's going with no help right now on the outside of Fambro and Collier.
He's making his own line, and it's working. No one's working with him.
Oh,
And now
Brad
Brad Slaughter's going to take notice of it, and okay, I see what you're cooking. I'll have some of it for now.
Well, this is
Slaughter
tense moments here as the 67 tries to squeeze around the outside. The 33 and 28 almost didn't play ball. They almost got door-to-door as the 81 loses the ground to the 67, gets squeezed by the 18, almost into the wall, and this is just getting tighter and tighter and tighter, Connor.
It's only going to get more and more tight the more the tires wear. Red Robertson on the apron, just getting out of the way, just getting back up to speed as a 67. Hearn finally finds a place he's okay with being. It's basically where he already was, right in front of a 28 of Furness, up into a 9th position already. Furness doesn't want to ride behind him. He goes back to the middle while Hearn's still trying to find something on the top.
This is like darker race. Whoa, 2 rows of 3 wide, something we haven't seen all race long, and it's happening towards the front. Going to get really tight here going in the 1. Weishart decided to go with Hearn, and now we're starting to see guys get more comfortable running 3 wide. For how much longer, though?
Comfortable, that's a fun word for it. Down the back straightaway, 3 abreast. Big slide by the 22 of Russell LePage in the backdrop. And the steam is dying with the 33. I don't think he's got the tire that the 67 had, and that run is being stunted a little bit, but they're still making a touch of progress here, Connor. It's just going to be tight, dicey stuff for the next couple of laps.
The best thing that could happen for that outside line is having Hearn lead it. I don't think Weishart's the one who should be leading it. I think Cameron Hearn should have been at the front of it, but that wasn't really a decision Hearn was able to make because Weishart wanted to go up there himself, but just hasn't worked for that 33 with the 67 pushing him as hard as he can. He just can't get the grip up there as Chris Riebel got really close to Scioli there down the back straightaway.
No. Big lap traffic. Slow out of turn 4. This is going to get very scary as the 67's got nowhere to go. 4 wide for a moment through the traffic.
Oh, and Franks is in the wall. He'll keep it up there this time. Wiggling. Got to be careful. Keep a dog leg, but they make it work. But that's the back. That's kind of a disadvantage of trying that 3rd line way at the top. one lap car will ruin your run unless they go to the apron, which we might see them go to the apron later in the race, but it's just not happening yet as we're 3 wide, still around the 14th position. Hearns found Brad Slaughter Jr. now to try to make it work.
Well, not only that, but the 33 of Weishart seemed like as soon as he went up to get a run from the 67, acted as an anchor, so almost like the opposite of what the 67 wanted. Now, I don't know if that's because the 7 of Scioli was contending for the lead at the time, and that the team owner took over for Weishart, but it really hinted the 67's run, and it feels like he's used up most of the new tires now, so it'll just settle in right behind the 81 of Slaughter.
Yeah, the good has been worn off the good years, I think, at this stage. They were really good for a couple of laps. I think Hearn can still make some ground up there, but just not with one of these cars with the older tires in front of him. Kind of orderly again. They're restacking into 2 even rows. The inside line has the advantage. Elwood, Rabel, and Beckner, the first 3 on the inside row. Then it's Scioli and Harden on the outside.
Harden struggling to get to the bumper of Scioli. Now he's about to get back up there. Now Joshua Franks got sort of... Oh, that
wrong
was
time to hit the number 7, I think, Connor. He booted him into turn 3.
He's been doing that all night. He's got to be more aware of when he's making those bumps. And I was talking about how Joshua Franks a little bit erratic in front of Aliers when he was letting him by. He's been warned for that, and since then he's pulled off the racetrack, maybe to repair damage, maybe to just call it a night. But that's something we gotta be wary of. Lap cars, especially later in the race, they gotta make sure they make their moves earlier to let the pack by.
So the field continues to rage on down the backstretch now into turn 3. 2-car breakaway now with Elwood and Rabel, then Scioli side by side with Travis Beckner now for the 3rd spot. Maybe if Beckner is clear, he can move up and possibly be led by the 7 of Scioli. Well, that's if he gets on the outside with a push, but that outside line has sort of stunted its own growth, and it's just Elwood and Rabel driving away.
Yeah, they just are not really going anywhere right now. If the 29 jumps up there, or even the 27, they could kind of reinvigorate, add some energy back up there. I always like talking about energy when we come to these plate race, restrictor plate race style races, because it's such a great word for what has to happen. You have to kind of build your energy to get anywhere, and what that means is if you're not going places, you got to pair up with someone that's better, and it's just like finding a different dance partner. And you know, you didn't pick the prettiest one. You got to pick a prettier one to get noticed on the dance floor out here.
When he started broadcasting, Jeff Gordon's favorite word was energy. He talked all about it, especially at Daytona and Talladega, because it's so important. Like you were talking about, another lap car, Jeff Ryan gets out of the way cleanly there, but you're so right about it. You need to have the right momentum. You need to have the right drivers in your lane to go anywhere. And right now, Scioli, he does not have the right driver behind him in Ricky Harden, but maybe Travis Beckner going to the top can help him. Where he's been comfortable all night long, Scioli has been. He's been comfortable as the pusher, and now he can return to that role of Beckner up there.
And Beckner now leading the outside lane. This is going to give a massive run on the outside, especially for the 7 of Scioli. Going to give him that much needed help to kind of reinvigorate that run that the 7 needs to get back up towards the front. Beckner, though, leading in front of the 7, but Elwood still leading in front of the field, but not for long.
Clouds over the speedway now. Have a quick look at the weather. Track temp has risen just a little bit despite the conditions changing over the course of this race. We just hit 40 laps to go, and the intensity I always think ratchets up with around 30 laps to go, Connor. It just feels like you know, you're building that energy towards that grand finale, and when I see that lap counter hit 30 to go, there's something in my brain that makes it think I'm almost there, and they are almost there. 20 minutes if we go green to the end. Oh, big moment from the 29 car of Rabel on the straightaway.
Got a little bit sideways trying to cut the dog leg, actually missed it and sort of had to make an evasive move to not wreck there, but I usually think it ratchets up with 50 to go, especially if you're not in at the very front. Actually, especially at the very front, it's going to pick up, but it's also going to pick up a little bit more if you're outside that top 10. Just less time to make a move, less time to get to the front. And it means a lot now at this track more than ever to make those moves, and you got to start to formulate something to go your way. Like Cameron Hearns still sort of experimenting back there. Sooner or later, if you're 10th on back, you got to try something.
It'll be interesting if this continues to go green for the next 20 laps or so, because Cameron Hearn, although his tires are sort of old now, they are fresher than most drivers in front of him. So this will be interesting to see how this goes, if this becomes an advantage for the 67. Oh, that smoke was from pit road. I got a little PTSD there from earlier on in the race, but we'll have to see if that stunts the rest of the field and that the 67 might have another boost, as they are still side by side throughout the pack.
It's just, again, it's been so even without dedicated pushing and or mistakes from the other lane. You're just effectively going to go nowhere. It just seems like you're in lockstep here on the outside and the inside, and who is lined up doesn't seem to matter all that much. You just get stuck door to door. Can't push past that arrow bubble around the car next to you, Connor, so it creates a desperation. I like what I've seen out of the 67 with the aggression level. He just needs track position to get there, and right now he's going to try it again. He just needs someone else. The 09 is going to jump up and follow him. He needs a push. If he can get a couple cars, I think he'll build that energy again and get that third groove fully rocking.
Yeah, track position he needs, but he needs help to get that track position. The smoke from pit road was Shane Therian's engine blowing up. Safe to say his night's done, but you're talking about you've got to find some help for that 67 of current Senesac. They keep sort of peeking out like they're going to help, but then get back in line because they're just not sure of that happening. 29, another moment in the dogleg a little bit, but sooner or later, someone's got to go with them. That 67 can't be the only one trying 3 wide outside for the rest of this race. Someone at some point is going to try to go with them. It might not be for a little while longer, but you can bet money on the 67 getting some help by the end of the race.
I don't know if anyone's going to have the tires, or the, oh yeah, that's what I was going to say, the tires that the 67 has. Oh, it looks like he might have scraped the wall a little bit there, awkward line. Let's say 81 as Slaughter goes, then that might be his only shot at trying to get that third line to roll.
Well, they tried this combination earlier and it didn't work. He's right behind the two guys that tried to lead the 67, the 33 and the 81 as the 5 bounced off the fence. Oh, yeah, that was Garrett Grant. He pinged it pretty hard but kept it straight. But the 67, I think he needs to lead the charge. He needs someone else to follow him, and right now, Senesac wants to, but he doesn't have the pace or the tire to get to him.
I think Grant just scraped it. Nothing bad
Whoa,
there.
big moment from the 81. Slaughter chasing it out of turn 4.
And that's probably why you don't want him leading the line if you're the 67. He got so close to the right rear of Fambro that he thought he had to swerve to avoid him. That's what caused that, but I think the 67 needs to lead that lane for anything to happen there. I'm looking at the front, though. Travis Beckner, since he got the leading that front pack, that top line, he's been pinching harder than anyone else who's led that line, and he's been really pinching the 49 to that red and white line, something we're going to have to look out for as these tires start to wear. If Elwood can't hold that line and Beckner continues to pinch, it could spell trouble for the entire field.
Ooh, big moments.
Sorry,
Hunter, the 50.
Oh, he's not clear.
Woo.
Wow, it's getting very dicey. Sorry, guys. I know you're watching things.
So much to focus on.
I mean, this is what happens when you pack them up and pair them up. And this is, look, I don't necessarily agree about what they did to Atlanta. I just think the result is entertaining.
Well, there's no doubt about it. Yes, you might not like the pavement, the new pavement, and what they've done to it, but the entertainment level cannot be denied. There's no doubt about it. It provides action all throughout this entire race, no matter what cars, trucks, you put super trucks on this oval, it would produce good racing, as Travis Beckner finally cleared of a race lead, but gets back to the top of the preferred line where he wants to be. It's staying ahead of Alan Elwood. Elwood charges to the inside. Beckner continues to pinch, not as badly this time, but we start to get a little bit more formulated, and Cameron Hearn has not really dipped 3 wide to the outside in a few laps, so maybe he's starting to calm down, or maybe just, actually no, now he's peeking out. Take all my words back.
Say Beckner looking to get another win this season in the 3rd different area of the league. He's already got a win in the cup level and the truck level, still looking for that Lodgebox win and doing everything he can, although Elwood knocking on the door, not going away just yet, as they are really tight up here, and Hearn still trying to get that 3rd lane rolling in the back.
29 laps to go this time through. They are clicking them off, and we are about due for a yellow if we talk about the intensity level continuing to rise, and you can feel it. You can feel the energy level coming up. Here comes the 81 to the outside now in that 3rd row with a push from the 67. They just don't have the speed to do it. They need the inside line to be lifting a little more. Maybe in about 10, 15 laps, Connor, that will be a bit more effective as the inside drivers have to lift to sustain running 3 wide.
Oh, Beckner, huge slide on the top lane. He's still swerving, trying to catch it. He had him cleared, but just got sideways. Same thing Scioli did earlier, and he's able to save it just like Scioli did. We're almost to the 30-lap mark in this run. That's the longest run we've had, is 30 laps, so we're near that point where we might start to see some trouble.
Yeah,
Whoa.
oh, he is still loose so there. Oh my goodness. And then back here, Slaughter trying to get the third lane rolling with Hearn in the hot pursuit behind. They're 3 wide, right in the middle of that pack.
The 81's up in the wall as they're 3 wide. The 18 of Fambro's in the middle. Can they do this out of turn 4? This time they will, but Connor, this is just not sustainable.
Now for 25 plus more laps, it's not. The only thing that's sustainable is Cameron Hearn's fuel, possibly. I still don't think, even if this does go green, the majority of drivers who didn't pit last yellow, I don't think they can make it. Still something we have to look for, but the way they're running, they're not going to make it to any potential green flag pit stops. Got to be careful of lap traffic. Jeff Ryan is coming up next, and then Joshua Frank's back on the racetrack. And then after that, got to look out for this pack of about 7 cars they're about to catch.
Oh, no.
That's if they can catch him, because they might wreck before they get to him.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Into turn 1. 3 abreast, 2 rows deep in the midfield here. The 54 of Ryan Swan is 8th. The 18 is 9th. The 28 is 10th. And they are all in the same area of racetrack from the inside of the wall. And the 49, 29, 27, and 7 have it all in their mirrors as they battle door-to-door. 25 laps to go here at Atlanta next time by.
Whoa.
And the intensity continues to rise as the 37 drops onto the apron.
I think all the lap cars from here on out are going to have to do that. We're going to see 3 wide, or at least people peaking 3 wide too much to actually have the lap cars up there. Got to look out back there. Still wondering to see what Tommy Ryan's going to do. He dominated majority of the first half of this race. Oh, 33 Weishart got so sideways, but he saved it. Steve Durham might have spun, but he's able to keep it going. But still seeing want to see what that 99 can do to get back to the front.
Here comes Ricky Harden making a 3 wide in the middle. It's going to put the 7 on the outside. 99 didn't know where to go. He's going to stay in the middle lane for now. Elwood with the massive run on the bottom. Becker got no help because they're going 3 wide behind him. Here comes Harden, nearly making contact with Rabel on the inside. It's getting tight up here.
This is nerve-wracking. It's chaotic. The 99 and 7, they're triple wide as they come out of turn 2.
Oh, Beckner got sideways. Harden blocked. 27 can't block. Got to be careful. Harden's almost into the left rear. This spells disaster. It can't last any longer than it already has, as Elwood's finally got at least breathing room for the race lead, and at least he's ahead of the ensuing chaos that's about to happen.
Gosh, this is going to be a mess. I don't know where this lap car is going to go. They can't pull low. They're going to have to wait until they get on the backstretch to pull down.
54 is on the apron.
They catch them right here.
Get to the bottom.
Oh, the 18 and 81 almost touched. Oh, they're going to touch. Oh, there they go.
Oh, yep, there it is. 18, 81, 98 to the inside wall. Back up the track. Cameron Hearn's in it. Caution's out.
Big mess, turn 3.
Logan Hartman gets some contacts. That is so unfortunate. We knew it wouldn't last, but darn, it was cool to watch.
It was awesome to watch, but it was an awesome in the wrong sense. And let's have a slower look at this as they bounced off the back straightaway here. It all starts the 18 in the middle. He bounced off the 54, gets into the 81, and then starts this chain reaction. 98 gets clipped there. He goes to the inside. We'll watch his side of the incident in a second. But bam, the 35 of Lemke, hard in the wall. Weishart gets caught up in it too. And the 67 probably gets the worst of it here.
If Fambro had room to the inside after hitting Slaughter, they would have been fine, but he just clipped Ryan Swan, and that's what really ended it for everyone once the 18 and the 54 hit. It started all the way on the exit of 2 and carried all the way in the middle of turn 3.
Look at Maffitt.
Wow, was that Maffitt getting through there?
Watch this. Goodness. This is an incredible shot.
What in the world? How in the world has he done that? Let's see this. I'm trying to see who came in front of him. It almost looked like someone passed him backwards, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. The
yeah, there he is.
Of Russell LePage. Great job by Maffitt to get that woe down.
That's why he's
we got backed into at the end.
Oh, no.
That's not fair. Logan Hartman, that was trying to get out of the way. That's not fair. He didn't deserve that after that incredible avoidance, as everyone gets 4 fresh good years.
Well, all for naught.
So, with 20 laps to go, Alan Elwood's going to cycle to be your leader. Scioli, Rabel, Harden, Ackley, no major changes there. Tommy Ryan, Beckner, Swan, Senesac, the rest of your top 10. Take this moment. Fans, be sure to check out areairacing.shop for merchandise to represent your favorite driver. Shop from our selection of t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, stickers, and more. Areairacing.shop. That is your field getting back behind the pace car. 20 laps to go. I predict, Connor, not very boldly, that we have not seen our last accident. But we'll see how this restart pans out. It usually takes 5 to 10 laps to build up that energy again. How it goes.
We'll definitely see how it goes. The intensity level is going to be the highest it's been. Under 20 laps to go for the restart. Jeremy Rigney, on the lead lap, has stayed out. And he is not hit this time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying in my head. I just didn't have the heart to say it out loud, Hunter. But he has stayed out. He didn't pit under green, obviously. He has a little bit of right front damage, a little bit of right rear damage, and he's staying out to lead the restart here.
I didn't mention the 41 because I thought he was going to hit, but
he hasn't.
Didn't.
I think even he's confused.
Oh, there's a lot of stuff going on. Matthew Cochran's still lined up second. That's definitely not where he's supposed to be. There's a lot of confusion going on here, I think.
Huh.
Well, it's what happens when you put all the cars in a blender down the back straightaway.
Yeah, they're even 3 wide under yellow here. Can't avoid it.
This is like watching one of those races where NASCAR screws up the scoring and then all the spotters are yelling at the tower that there's someone not where they're supposed to be and everyone's trying to figure it out.
I'm supposed to be there.
Yeah.
No, they're supposed to be back there. But what we do know is the 41 of Rigney is definitely supposed to be there. But he's on 0 tires. Gonna see what he's actually just asked on the radio for end-of-line penalty. So don't know why he didn't pit, but it's clear that he didn't pit. He doesn't want to be up at the front.
Yeah,
pretty EOL.
Pretty late to get an EOL.
I would think so.
I think you can always just pull down to pit road.
Yeah.
That might be its best case, even though it might put him a lap down. That would be the best case for the rest of the field.
Oh yeah.
Because as we saw Monday, you stay out on old tires. No one wants to work with you.
Well, 19 laps is what we've got left to race. Area Lodgebox Series, race 6 of the season. Rigney is your leader. Elwood, Scioli, Rabel, and Ackley are the rest of your top 5. Here we go. 19 laps to go from Atlanta Motor Speedway, and we're back underway. Green flag back in the air.
Really got to watch what's going to happen here. Where can Scioli go out of turn number 2? He's just going to pull 3 wide bottom immediately.
No.
That's barely going to work if it does. That was extremely close, but he's got the lead because of it.
Rigney's stuck in the middle. He can't go low. He's going too high. He's going too low now. Oh, the 41 with older tires while the rest of the field with newer tires flies by.
Not a great decision to choose the middle. I know he probably should have just stuck to the bottom. Now he's going to try to get high, but he can't go anywhere. He's stuck in the middle, 3 wide still as we come out of turn 4. And I think he's going to get a break in the action here to drop into line.
No, not quite.
Oh, that was dicey stuff. Up front, Hardin to the lead now in the 15. Where'd he come from?
Oh, no. Abram Tellier made contact. I think that was John Furness he made contact with, but they kept it straight. Garrett Grant was involved in it as well, but they kept it straight. While the 41, he's holding it better than I thought. He's dropped back, but he's kept the race car intact, and he's got an extra set, which I don't think that matters. But how about Ricky Hardin in the race lead? But he's so sideways.
Oh, he's sideways, and the 49 doesn't know what to do, although loose is fast, and that's proven to be the case here as Hardin leads that lap. He could go down if he wants to, but I think he's going to stay with the run from the 49 of Elwood.
Oh, Elwood's pushing heavily on that right rear corner of the bumper, and that can be a big moment like you see there out of 2.
Thought it was a wreck in the back. Someone slapped the wall pretty hard. It was Rigney. Rigney slapped the wall, which is not surprising with how we've seen old tires go as they're so tight at the front.
They was swerving Irvin on the bottom there, but they are still swerving for the lead up here. Saw the 15 of Hardin get sideways coming out of 2 last time by. The 7 of Scioli, now with the 99 of Ryan, giving them that momentum going into the turn, but the 49 of Elwood still all over the bumper of Hardin.
Oh!
So sideways coming out of 2.
Down the back straightaway, the 15 is just getting pushed around, slipping and sliding, trying to keep that black and blue Chevrolet pointed the right direction. The red, white, and blue Toyota pushing him behind. Scioli skating around on the bottom out of turn 4. 15 laps to go from Atlanta.
If I'm Elwood, I'm lobbying Chris Railby to go with me. I do not want to be behind this driver. It's not going to end well. Go with me as they're squarely behind that outside line even. I don't see this going well with Hardin getting pushed as hard as he is by Elwood. I don't see it lasting.
No, I don't see it lasting with the way the 15 moves up coming out of 2. All it takes is one bad bump. 49 of Elwood had to get out of line there. That's going to allow the inside to get a little momentum push, but it might set up for a massive run coming off the corner. Weishart now trying to get a third line rolling with the 5 of Grant.
Trying to get moved onto the outside. The 5 pounds the wall on the entrance to turn 1. Skating up the road, the 33 trying to do what Hearn was doing. Hearn isn't in the mix anymore, down in 28th place, but Weishart's making moves and making ground here down the backstretch as the leaders scramble for position, Connor. That 33 is making up spots.
And I'm impressed with his pusher, Garrett Grant. That car's destroyed. He's been hitting the wall left and right, but he's able to keep some speed in that 5 machine to help the 33 out with the push here. Outside lane gets ahead a little bit. Only those two up there really making it work as Rabel tries to catch back up as there's 2 lanes at least 3 wide back there trying to get up there, Weishart is.
Boy, Ricky Harden.
Oh,
to go down. Oh!
Michael Lipe skating. Look out. Jacob Hudson's going to have to drop to the right, and he does it. Nice work, boys.
Oh, that was incredible. Don't know how that happened. They might drop back to that second pack. A decently large second pack is for because of the amount of cars that were destroyed in that last crash. Travis Beckner is actually going to drop back to him. He might be faster than that pack with how damaged they are. Is there 3 wide at the back? That's Tellier, Roderick. Someone else on the outside is
Grant.
Oh, they're getting so tight. Another thing that can't last forever, but they don't have to last too long like this. There's coming to 11.
Oh, man.
Coming to 11 to go.
69 and 33 almost collided at a turn 2, and Weishart's trying to make that upper groove work, Hunter, but it is just not getting as much ground as he was a couple of laps ago. He needs that 5 to push him, but they're both in the wall.
He's about to be in the wall. He's about to be in that wall, and it might be time for that experiment to cease operations
Cameron Hearn.
as well.
Cameron Hearn down the back straightaways crashed hard.
We stay green.
In the second pack. Definitely going to end his day. He's going to get back going as the leaders are coming off of 2.
Oh. Well, that is extremely unfortunate. Surprised the yellow didn't come out for that. He's smoking all over the place, and he was back on the backstretch. Normally,
the 7. Big slide in turn 3. Chases it up the road. Hangs onto it, but it makes that inside line extremely unstable, and Hardin and Elwood now cleared on the high side.
That was
one to the outside.
Oh, they touched. They crashed in turn 1.
There it is. Elwood in the wall. They're going to keep it green as Elwood just going into the wall again and again, and has somehow kept it green through all this, as now it's James Scioli to the lead with Chris Rabel leading the top.
Wow.
Man, oh man, that is something we need to look back at, as he's just trying to climb that wall like Rockingham. He went for it.
Oh,
he saw the opening.
Elwood's wrecking again. It's Logan Hartman involved. Elwood's sliding again. They've somehow saved it again. I don't know what went on there, but he's still sliding the car.
Hardin into Garrett Grant in turn 1.
Oh,
there's a lot going on. There's too much going on.
The gloves are off, boys. 8 to go next time by.
Elwood's very upset on the radio. He thinks Hardin did that on purpose, I think. But nevertheless, we stay green through all of that, and the lead pack's been shrunk to not too many cars anymore, and Chris Rabel is the man on the outside now. Ryan Swan, where's he come from? He's back in it. AJ Roderick, Bryce Senesac, whole bunch of new players at the front.
Absolutely, but the same old Tommy Ryan in the 99, he's also back in it. The second car on the outside line, pushing the 29 of Rabel, trying to get the edge out in front of the 7 of Scioli, with Swan in pursuit from behind. They're going to get slicing and dicing here even more than what we've traditionally seen throughout the race.
7 laps to go, and no one's pulling punches.
Lap traffic.
At Atlanta, there's a big pack of lap traffic, but the front pack has been kind of thinned out with all that chaos from the last couple of laps. We'll see.
They're side by side.
Wide, Connor. This is not going to be good.
This is not the place to be side by side, and they're not getting out of the way. Get to the bottom. Get to the bottom.
Boy.
Oh my goodness, you got to get to the bottom earlier. It's the 3rd time I've seen Joshua Franks do that, but they've gotten away with it again as Chris Rabel, that's helped him get to the race lead with help from the 99.
I'll say him moving down because of that has helped the 99 actually lead that outside line. Oh, spoke too soon. Rabel comes up, opens the door for Scioli. Here comes the 7.
Man, side by side into turn 1. Look at the 22 and 15 almost touching. Travis Beckner's back in the mix in that 27 car. He kind of disappeared off the radar for a while. Still in lockstep down the backstretch and coming back to 5 laps to go.
He was off the lead pack completely maybe 10 laps ago as they're so tight for 3rd. Ryan almost got hit from Ryan Swan, but the 27 back in it, trying to find somewhere to go, but it might be too little too late to go from 13th to 1st. But with how this race has been, you just never know. Weishart hit the wall there. Still trying to get that 3rd lane going, but just not having the help he needs as Rabel continues to lead.
If Dale Sr. can do it, Travis Beckner sure as hell can, as they are still dicing it behind the leaders of Rabel on the outside, Scioli on the inside. You got the Ryan and Ryan show. Swan on the bottom, and Tommy Ryan on the outside. Oh, man, something's got to give. They can't continue to race like this. Someone's going to have to make an aggressive move, and it's going to end up wrecking the field.
AJ Roderick is up in the top 5. Bryce Senesac is in 6th. Both drivers that could use a little bit of a kickstart to their season. 4 laps left, and side by side still more lap traffic. This time it's a singular car, and it's Alan Elwood.
Wonder if he's looking for Ricky Horton. I don't think he would do something like that.
No.
He only got close there, but that was because Harden slid up, as Elwood definitely probably felt he had the race almost close to 1 as he continues to soldier on as we get closer and closer to the finish. 3 laps to go.
Those front 2 on the outside get a big enough run out. Look for the 99 of Ryan to go down low, and that might be a recipe for disaster in itself. But the 7, massive bump from the 54 of Swan as they go down the backstretch.
Next time by is 2 laps to go as they enter turn 3. Remember the rules here. If we get to the white flag, there will be no cautions. If we get a caution between now and the white flag, we will restack them for 1 green-white checkered. 2 laps to go, 3 miles left in Atlanta, and they fan out down the front stretch.
Last thing we need is a green-white checkered, but they're kind of getting a little rowdy. 3 wide, that's not going to work. Russell LePage contact with Forrest Smith. They keep it straight again, though.
How do they continue to get away with this? We asked
Just
ourselves
like
this Monday night, Tuesday night, and we're asking ourselves on Thursday night how they are able to do this.
Counter steer and hopes and dreams. 2 laps to go, coming back to the white flag. It'll be 1 lap to go from Atlanta. We're racing this one out, boys. Here we go. 1 lap left at Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Area Lodgebox Series.
It's Rabel and Scioli now. I don't think anyone else can do anything without jeopardizing the 29 or 7 as they're so tight through 1 and 2. The 7 getting pinched, the 29 sideways, coming down the back.
The outside line is more stacked. They're going to have a big enough run to give the 29 of Rabel heading into 3 and 4 for the final time. It's Scioli on the bottom, Rabel on the outside. Ryan pushing Rabel, Swan pushing Scioli. They come off turn 4. They're side by side coming to the line. Crash! The 29 spins!
Tommy Ryan, I think, got it. Unbelievable. Oh, my goodness, a huge crash to end this one. Tommy Ryan, contact to the 29, and he's gotten away with the win in a wrecked race car.
By 32 thousandths of a second, they tangle at the line. 1 car up, airborne into the catch fence, and Tommy Ryan's your winner at Atlanta.
That was AJ Roderick who got into the catch fence. What a scary crash, but my goodness, what a finish. I think he saw a gap to the middle, went for it. I thought for a second they were going to push Chris Rabel across the line to win it, but Ryan just barely got it. My goodness, we got to see how that formulated out of 4.
Yeah, here's the 7 on
Had
the
to have
bottom.
been a bad bump.
And I think the 99
sees the
right
hole.
Now he
here.
made his move, went to block, and then that's all she wrote.
That's what happens at these tracks, and Ryan just got by the rear bumper of the 29
Holy
to win it.
cow, the
Roderick,
69.
yeah, launches into the catch fence.
He finished 3rd after all that, by the way. But
Boy,
here's
Chris Rabel almost won that. Look at the 29. He almost
I know,
wins
he
this
almost got
backwards.
pushed across the line.
wow. Watch the 69 though. Right here in the middle of this, gets launched airborne up over the top of Rabel and straight into the catch fencing, grinding along the top of the wall, and eventually comes to rest, but after finishing in 3rd place, and here's what it looked like at speed.
That was incredible. It happened so fast. Rabel so close to getting pushed. Everyone involved in that. Well, my gosh, Roger caught in the catch fence. I cannot believe that. That is a finish for the ages. You could see the hole was there, and the 99 got there. The 29 tried to close it. It was too late. 99 was definitely not going to win that one if the contact wasn't made, but there's the finish right there. What the 29 second backwards, I think.
Yep.
And everyone else sideways just trying to find somewhere to get through. My gosh.
This was absolutely wild, and then the 69 getting launched skyward. And just a big mess at the end, but Tommy Ryan grabs a victory in, I guess you could say, in style, coming across the line sideways. Let's have a look at our race results. This was a wild and fun one tonight. Tommy Ryan, Chris Rabel, and AJ Roderick. The 99 was up front all night long, guys, but Connor Rabel, he was there too, but Roderick, Scioli, well, you throw Scioli in, but the 5409, the 47, and the 33, they were all over the place tonight just trying to find purchase.
Yeah, a lot of guys at the front didn't finish where they deserved to. Ricky Harden was sideways all night, but at the front all night, he comes along 8th. Once again, I think just like IRP, we didn't talk about Rob Ackley at all, and he comes away with a 7th place. Weishart, he was one of those guys trying to get top going. He finished as 10th. A lot of guys benefiting from the chaos at the end there.
Boy, Russell LePage was sideways spinning. He did everything but flip and finished 14th somehow. Beckner was inside the top 10, top 5, ended up getting 11th. Then Furness, Grant, LePage, Leip, Forrest Smith, Jacob Hudson had an interesting night, finishing 17th. And then in Munsell, Fambro, and Collier rounding out the top 20.
Well, let's have a look down on page number 3, 21st through 30th. Logan Hartman, Steve Durham. Some of these drivers took some big hits throughout the night. Brad Slaughter, a disappointing 23rd. And Swerven Irvin down in 26th. And you have to feel for Alan Elwood, caught up in that late collision there with the 15, Connor. I'm sure he'll be upset with how tonight went, but still got his other 2 wins to rely on.
He was really upset at Logan Hartman after the race as well. He had a few people mad at him. He rejoined in front of a pack of cars. I don't know how that'll go over, but that doesn't matter now. What's happened's happened. Another guy you really have to feel for is Cameron Hearn. He was the most aggressive driver all night long. Tried to make stuff happen at that top lane 3 wide. It looked like it was finally going somewhere, but then the wreck down the back happened. Nowhere for him to go. An undeserving 33rd, as well as Shane Theory and an early end to his night, unfortunately.
Well, a frantic finish at the end. We've got the driver, the number 69, out of the infield care center. And first of all, before we get into talking about the finish, AJ, are you okay? That was a wild, wild crash there at the end.
I got some scrapes and bruises. I think a fence went through my left arm, but otherwise, we're alive.
That was an insane crash, but 17th you started. You finished in 3rd despite the crash there at the tail end. Take us through your night and the way these cars raced. It looked like a blast. It just looked like it was also hard to make ground up. But at the tail end, the last 15, 20 laps of this race were crazy. What looked like out your windshield?
You really couldn't do anything. You just had to wait for somebody else to either get out of line or just wait for cautions and try to use pit strategy, really. I mean, I'm not really sure that I technically passed anyone outside of somebody making a mistake and going into the wall. I mean, it was just right place at the right time.
It just was one of those things that it seemed like there was going to be more and more crashes towards the end, but they just never formulated. Is there anything you could have done different tonight, looking back on all the decisions and the pit stops and the cautions? Anything you think you could have done better, or is it just the luck that landed you in 3rd place and some well-timed moves?
I think qualifying on pole probably would have helped a lot more.
Gotcha. Well, AJ Roderick, 3rd place tonight. Well, glad you're okay. Even in the virtual world, I would have had a heart attack after that one. So, congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you. And I'd like to, thank our sponsors, Roderick Racing Development, Simrat Market, Elwood Designs, and, thank even though I'm not a points driver, I'd like to thank my teammates for all the help tonight. Danny Ware for spotting for me. It was a lot of fun for the most part.
And made it out the other side. 3rd place for the number 69 Toyota. We'll see you next time. Moving on now to our 2nd place finisher, Chris Rabel in the number 29. Finished the race backwards. Started it forwards in 6th place. Chris, take us through your night and then that tail end there. Almost had that one. What'd you see?
Yeah, man, it was pretty wild there. Unfortunately, with this track, it's so hard to pass, and you just have to take whichever run that you can get. And if you wait for it, you're gonna get your doors blown off. And I just kind of kept it where I felt most comfortable, whether that be on the bottom or the top, logging laps there. And then the 49 and the 15, I think it was, had their incident into 1 there, and had a little bit of a pucker moment into 1 and somehow squeezed through and was sitting pretty. But at the end there, can't fault the guy for taking the hole. This is the kind of racing that there is, and take everything you can get trying to get the win.
Well, 2nd place, Chris, not a bad night at all. I know it felt like you might have had that there in the last couple of yards, but just missed out by 32 thousandths. Thanks for chatting with us, and great job tonight. It was fun to watch you up there.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you. And race winner, Tommy Arine, gets it done in the number 99. Man, there's a lot to go through in that race. All the struggles for track position that drivers fought with all night. You started on pole and ran up front most of the night. Came down to the last lap, a little bit of contact, some sideways, some upside down into the catch fence, but the 99 was out front by 32 thousandths, Tommy. What'd you see out the windshield and out the mirror the last couple laps?
Just trying to find an opportunity, and I the other night in the truck series, I got an opportunity taken on me, and I was looking for the same one, and the hole opened up there. It was small, but these guys don't mind filling small margins, so that's where we went. And unfortunately, I got squeezed up front and rear, or both sides, left and right, and it was just a pure luck that I came sliding across the finish line in first. But hey, man, that's how we got to roll. So I don't mind racing like that, but here we are.
You got it. You got yourself in victory lane, locked yourself into the playoffs. So congratulations on that, Tommy. Hard fought one. I know that the tail end of that race was pretty wild. Cars dropping like flies and slipping and sliding, but you outlasted. Congratulations and enjoy it.
I appreciate it, man. I just want to thank my sponsor, Northern Tool and Equipment, and my longtime fan of Megadeth and Dave Mustaine.
All right, Tommy. Hey, congratulations again. Enjoy it. Winner in the Area Lodgebox Series. All right, we'll wrap things up. We finish things up here. Hunter, final thoughts on the Area Lodgebox Series race from Atlanta tonight. Was absolutely crazy. Take me through your perspective of the action.
You know what? We got everything we wanted throughout all 3 weeks. We had great racing. We had big wrecks. We had flips. We had a space launch in the middle of the front stretch, and we had everyone spinning, smashing, crashing at the finish of this one. I still prefer Old Atlanta, but this is absolutely entertaining. Kind of bummed to see it over, but man, tonight was such a blast, and that finish, I mean, we're talking about in a few hundred feet, we went from everyone going side by side, too wide, to spinning out to the entire length of the front stretch, and one car almost going out of the ballpark.
41 lead changes in 131 laps, 8 different leaders, and it all came down to a green flag finish at the end, despite the crash on the checkered flag moment. That was a fun one. We'll see you next time. I think we got a week off next week, so our next race is going to be on December 1st at Darlington. Next area race will be on November 28th at Darlington. Same for the trucks, same for the Lodgebox Series. Kyle Heyer, Connor Horn, and Hunter Sleppy with you. We'll see you on November 28th. Until then, it's been great. Thanks for watching the Area Lodgebox Series. We'll see you next time.